Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Before starting this video, I highly recommend that you watch all 5 parts of this case study in their entirety if you do not have a background on this couple. Now, if you already have a background on this couple, then you can proceed on with part 6. We have finally come to where the story is at current day, and sis had evidence. Now let's go through what has been happening to her for the last few months. And we're also going to go over the court documents because I have them here and I'm going to read them. So while DDG was on the internet talking about things, Halle was gathering her evidence and she took it to court. She did it the legal way, which is the proper way to do it.
All right, I'm looking at her story now. Oh. That. Don't even.
That can't even be real.
Fuck that, bro. Fuck that.
But that can't even be real.
But,
that's the thing.
But don't even. But you remember we talked about last night? All that. Let me say something. It's not.
No, I'm saying, but I don't know where that even came from.
Yo, stop these fake allegations. This is a father. This is a real person. It's a good human being.
Even, but I don't.
But hey, bro, we on stream, bro.
Come on, like I gotta be.
Just don't do it, bro. Come here.
Don't even make no.
All back. That's my real friend. We're not gonna do no false shit to ruin this stream. He's a great human being. He does a lot for a lot of people. He's a man. He's a father, and we're gonna respect him. We're gonna love him. WDDG, and fuck anyone who got anything to say.
Fuck the fake narratives, man. Stop the bullshit. We don't want to hear that shit, bro. That's fake.
Listen.
Yeah, he was shocked, y'all. And listen to his friend talking about he's a father. He's a father. Whether he's a father or not is irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that sis had receipts. So you see, this is why it's important to not run to the internet all the time. Whenever you have a dispute, it's better to just go the legal way. What he should have done that time when he was denied access to his son is he should have gone to the courthouse, but he didn't want to do it. I don't know why, because this could have been avoided. But instead, he went to the internet. And now look at what's going on. Things have gotten so out of hand. So let's see other reactions, because he's not able to talk about the situation. She put a gag order on his behind. And she even said that he was the one who was sending his followers to go antagonize her and abuse her. Doesn't that sound familiar? Oh, so now it's okay when it's you. But remember, when he was doing it to the other people, you was sitting here right with him. And I'm going to say this as well. Like, we got to do better as women when it comes to not enabling these type of men. Please don't do that. Do not enable bad behavior. If you see your man is tripping, tell him he's tripping. What is wrong with holding him accountable? There's nothing wrong with that. If your man is sitting, first of all, you shouldn't be with somebody who is quick to anger. That is emotional instability. You need to be with someone who is slow to anger and who thinks before they react. Someone who doesn't just talk and pop off at the mouth. You shouldn't be with that type of person. But sis didn't see that because, again, she has some of her traits too. But that does not mean that she deserved to get abuse. This is demonic. Because remember, he's calling Ruby demonic, but no, you are demonic. There's no reason why people should be putting their hands on anyone. And men who put their hands on women are cowards. I don't care what the situation was, because the speculation is that they both were tussling and that he put his hands on her because she put his hands on him. Either way, no one should be putting their hands on each other. This is what allegedly happened from his camp. But her story is completely different. Now, what I am going to say, though, is that based on their Bobby and Whitney dynamic, I do believe that they both put hands on each other. That's just my opinion. I have two people who do not know how to manage their emotions and also communicate. So these type of situations are bound to happen. It was only a matter of time. They were a ticking time bomb. So before we get into the court documents, let's see what his family had to say, because again, they are enmeshed. They're ready to jump in, but these are serious allegations, so I can't quite fault them. They are going to be behind their brother. However, I would understand if he did not have a pattern of having this type of behavior, as far as his anger and as far as him going back and forth with women and having this type of toxic trait where he is always going to social media, venting, doing this whole back and forth. It's like they couldn't see that.
Crazy, bro. My brother really called me and be like, bro, I want to blah, blah, blah. But how can my brother get a child from a movie set? Last time I seen Halo was when he did the thing in the mirror. And I'm not saying so many, I'm not like disrespecting. I don't want to disrespect, I don't want to disrespect Halle, because like I said, real life and the internet is different. Real life and internet is different. So I don't want to disrespect Halle. I don't want to disrespect Brittany. I don't want to disrespect my brother. I don't want to disrespect nobody. But all I'm saying is that the internet is fake, bro. It's fake because I still, you feel me? Y'all get what y'all understand what I'm saying, bro? Like, what if Halle be like, all right, Dub, I'm gonna drop him off to you to give to my brother, because they don't want to see each other. I'd be like, cool. I drive my Halo all the way. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want, because realistically, bro, if Halle hate me, which I know she don't, if she hate me, hate my mama, hate my sister, hate everybody around us, then now Halo is away from us, bro. We need Halo.
The thing that I don't understand with people is that people say that I'm not a girl's girl, or I'm a girl's girl when I choose to be, or this and this and this. But have y'all ever thought, like, Moo is my actual blood brother? Did y'all ever think about that? Did y'all ever think about how much love I could have for my brother? Like, do y'all ever just, like, sit there and think, if you was in the situation that I'm in right now, if you was in the situation, how the fuck would you go about it? Like, like on a serious note, how would you go about it if you were in a situation that I was in? Or a situation that he was in? And y'all don't know nothing but what get put on the internet. And I can't say everything, because everything that I say can be used against anything, because now it's a legal action. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get why I have to.
DDG doing? That's my brother, and I don't know. I seen that's crazy, because I seen the clip when he was with Adam when he first ate him, when he first seen the thing, and that shit is crazy. I don't really have nothing to say. We don't know the whole story, but obviously, she don't have to do what she felt like she needed to. So that's what it is. They be too nosy at TMZ. And then Halle got to read these comments, and DDG got to read these comments, and you know that's what come with the lifestyle, the celebrity or influencer lifestyle, whatever you want to call them. But internet gonna break up in two sides. It's always three sides to the story. But you gonna have the people that fuck with DDG and they gonna say, oh, I never knew DDG to be like that, boom, 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 and that's their experience. So it's their right to say that. And you got people that's on Halle's highlighter. Oh, and if they say they don't know DDG, oh, it's Halle's fault. She abusive. She the one that hit him. And then you got people on Halle's side. DDG is a piece of shit and this and that. And then it's just like, none of our opinions really matter. Like, she got the restraining order. And that's what she felt she needed to do. So that's what she had to do. And like I said, I'm just gonna pray for both. And they can work it out for the kiddies, because it gets real nasty with a kid involved, and that can really be hurtful and stuff like that. But yeah.
I know I'm gonna get backlash from this shit, but at the end of the day, man, I don't give a, because DDG my brother at the end of the day, you know? And that's a good thing. You feel me? That's a good thing. But like I say, bro, I don't even know if I don't even know if I want to say it or not. Like, the real truth behind this shit, bro. Because mind you, bro, I done been around. I was there. Like, I know what's going on, you know. But it's hard to sit back and let this shit, like, bro, and just watch this shit unravel like this, because I know DDG. You feel me? DDG don't do nothing. until somebody do something to him first. Look at all the beasts he's been in. Look at all the problems he had. He don't say nothing about nobody or do nothing to nobody unless they do something first. Do y'all remember that time where Ruby had screenshotted DDG posting, DMing her or some shit? Some shit happened for him to do it. You get what I'm saying? And why would he do it? Listen, cause it's alright. Cause dang it, there's so much shit I want to say, but then again, some stuff is not my place to say, and there's some things that I don't want to put out there. That's if it's not already out there, because like it's crazy. I don't know. It's so crazy that you don't want to tear down your baby daddy like that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the only person who really gonna get hurt from this is Halo.
When you got genuine people in your corner and a genuine person like Moo, who genuinely is like a great guy, who doesn't have no expectations other than wanting to see another person win and do good and be respectful, and every great attribute and characteristic in a person, he shows that in every way to me. So I don't give a rat's ass who, what, when, where, why, and how. Like, I'm very much team Moo. I'm very much team, like, you know, you gotta, like, do for those and pour into those who pour into you. And you gotta, like, really pay attention to people's character these days. Like, behind the scenes type of character, when nobody's watching type of character.
Alright, so while I got y'all here, I want to address this comment that I keep seeing on a lot of different platforms. And the only reason why I haven't addressed it to each individual person is because I'm not about to argue back and forth with no bitch. I'm sorry. I know and you know that you would never and could never approach me on no bullshit like that in person. So there's no point in me going back and forth with you, because you're going to feel like you're doing something and you're not. Okay, so I be on TikTok just like y'all, scrolling casually, and a video will come up, and it could be Dejan, it could be Moo, whatever. And just like anybody else, I might click and look at the comments a little bit. So lately, I've been seeing a lot of comments where a person will be like, they did Brittany so wrong, but you see they ain't doing Hali like that. They know not to do Hali like that. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Let me make this very, very clear. There is never an issue between me and nobody else unless they make it an issue, okay? If you've never disrespected me and came at me sideways on some bullshit or moved funny with me as an individual, we ain't gonna have no problem. Okay, because when it comes down to somebody being in a relationship, co-parenting, baby mama, baby daddy, whatever the case may be, you can't always get involved in that type of thing, because they could be beefing today and fucking tomorrow for all we know. You understand what I'm saying? So why would I get upset about a situation that they going through when it ain't got to do with me? So while y'all all dick sucked and fanned out thinking that Halle is on a higher pedestal because ain't nobody saying nothing to her, it's because she ain't saying nobody out of the way. Why do y'all think that somebody is above anybody? So please stop that narrative of, oh, they know better. Who know better? Who know better? Because if anybody disrespect me, I'm gonna disrespect you back. I don't give a who you are. I don't care who you are. You bleed just like I bleed.
This is what enabling looks like in meshed families. And his mama came out with a statement, because she's usually quiet. I will give her that. She is usually quiet. She stays out the way. But mama was not having it, because she was like, y'all not going to talk about my son like this. So Mama DDG wrote, I don't usually comment or say anything on this internet, even with all the negativity, the lies, and the hatred towards mine. However, these accusations have made me realize that I have been quiet too long. Okay. And then she also posted, hello, Jesus, take the wheel. So she's defending her son. And you know, that's her son. So I understand from the perspective of her being his mother. However, and this is, I'm going to say this as respectfully as I can because she's an elder and she is his mother. And I like to respect her because I'm sure that she did her best to raise him. So I will give her some grace. Your son has been an issue for a long time. He has had issues, ma'am. And I know that you want to see the best of him and your children. But I will say this. As an outsider and a third party who is outside of the situation, your son needs help. He's been needed help. And the fact that he is being accused of this and that he has had this type of toxic behavior from before, this is something that you need to address with him instead of enabling his behavior. It was only a matter of time. And I want to just say something here that when you're friends with someone, it's going to be easy for you to see them as a good person. They're not going to show you their face. They have different faces with different people, just like you have a different face with different people. You don't lay up with him. You don't sleep with him. You're not in a relationship with him. So how would you know how he's treating his girls? Based on his patterns with his exes, you would have been able to see. All right, let's read the court documents. And shout out to Media Takeout. I know some people regard it as like kind of like a low tier, low budget blogging website, but hell, they were the only ones I could see that actually had the court documents. So shout out to y'all. So this is a declaration of Halle Bailey. I, Halle Bailey, declare I am the petitioner in this case. I have personal knowledge of the facts I state below, and if I were to be called as a witness, I would competently testify to what I have written in this declaration. Exhibits referenced below are true and correct copies of the identified document and are incorporated by reference at the place indicated by the exhibit letter. So she's talking about the evidence that she showed with the bruises on her arms. Y'all, this was, whatever happened between them was violent. And it really didn't need to be this way. The fact that he would put hands on her. Like, notice how her bruises were the same as Ruby's with the arms, right? So this leads me to believe that this is accurate. He did do that. He did it. Allegedly. Some people are saying that it was because he was trying to restrain her. Okay, let's say that that is true. How did the tooth become chipped? How did she get the chipped tooth? Then, let's continue. I submit this declaration in support of my request for a domestic violence restraining order. Number 3, Darryl Dwayne Granberry Jr., Darryl, and I were involved in a romantic relationship for about 2 years, beginning in 2022 and ending in 2024. Our son Halo St. Granberry, Halo, was born on December 22nd, 2023. Throughout our relationship and continuing to date, Darryl has been and continues to be physically, verbally, emotionally, and financially abusive towards me. I am seeking orders to protect myself and our son Halo from his ongoing abuse. Let's stop right here. So let me get this straight, sis. Throughout your entire relationship, she said throughout our relationship, so the whole 2 years while they were showing us couple goals, and she was saying he was the best dad, he was saying the same for her, she's the best mom, and she was saying that he's her soulmate, and retweeting things and just showing the world that they're on good terms. This is what's happening behind closed doors. But again, I'm not surprised by this because based on his relationship with his exes. This was bound to happen. And not only that, but now he has his son. Remember, his son was what he really wanted. And so now it's going to be harder for sis. She's the mother of his son. So now remember, he told us that if you with me forever. It's death row for him. Him and Little Dirk, they on the same type of time. It's death row. You with me forever. I'm not leaving you. Ask India Love how hard it was for her to leave Little Dirk. This man had to go be locked up for her to finally be free. This is what happens. They are possessive. This is a trait. He said we're going to be together forever. Forever. By any means necessary. So you can imagine how he would react. He was physically, verbally, emotionally, and financially. Financially? I'm going to need more explanation on the financial part because sis had her own money and he had his own. I'm assuming it's because he wouldn't let her work because he was sitting here being jealous and sending his followers to go harass her co-stars. That's what I'm assuming. Okay, so she's trying to protect herself and her son from him, and rightfully so, because if he's doing all of this, then he should not be around their son. Darryl is a professional YouTube and Twitch blogger and rapper. Whenever he wishes to cause upset, he starts bad-mouthing me to his several millions of fans. He claims I am withholding our son and that I am with other men. Now, we already knew that he was sending his fans, and even if he wasn't directly doing it, and he was just venting, you know his fans like to take it upon themselves to defend him. That's how some parasocial relationships work. Same thing with Nicki Minaj fans. When they feel like their queen has been slighted, they will go on a rampage. Them barbs do not play. The Bayhive, they don't play either. When they feel like Beyonce has been wronged, the internet is ablaze. It's going to go on fire. And that's how his supporters are, and DJ Academic's supporters as well. So I'm not surprised. So even if he says, hey, I didn't send them, I actually told them not to send hate to her. The fact that you're getting on your platform to talk bad about her and negatively towards her and villainize her, this is what's going to happen. And the same for Halle when she came out with that tweet. When she was talking about how she didn't approve of him having their son on Kais in that stream. You know what that's going to do. So it goes both ways. He claims I am withholding our son and that I am with other men. I'm not surprised because he's jealous. He thinks that she is going to be with other men. I'm assuming it's because that's what he would do, or he has been doing that. He's probably been talking to other girls because, again, this is just my opinion. When he had an argument with Halle, he actually said that Halle was in front of him when he messaged Ruby Rose. And the fact that he still had her number and they were still talking to each other, that lets me know all that I need to know. He had her on standby. Let's continue. As a result, I then receive threats and hate on social media. He seems to try to set up drama for his fans. He goes live ranting about me and alleges that I am keeping Halo away from him. This is false. I have requested a set schedule, which he refuses. He does not like boundaries. He wants to be able to get up and see his son whenever he wants. He said that out of his own mouth. Listen, I don't do speculation stuff. I mean, sometimes I do. But majority of the times when I'm telling y'all things is because that is what is coming out of their mouths. This is what he said. This just goes to show that he does not want to comply with a set schedule, because then he wouldn't be able to do as he pleases, which means when he's free and when he has time, he wants to get up and take his son. And that's probably something that he saw in his childhood or around him. But she's saying, no, I need you to follow a schedule. But he doesn't want it. And to be fair, I could understand where he's coming from in a way, because he's a streamer. So his schedule is all over the place. So I will give him that. However, listen, you got to come up with a schedule. Either you do or the court does. But instead of kind of trying to work it with her, he's upset, and then he's acting childish about it. That's the problem. He reverts back to his pattern. Number 5, I am also a public figure and am subject to public scrutiny and hate. As recently as this morning, May 13, 2025, Darryl was giving an interview in Miami on TikTok talking about our son, flipping the script, claiming he is getting hated on by his fans. I was able to dig up the interviews that he did around that time, and y'all are gonna listen to what he says regarding why he doesn't want to date until he's in his 40s. And pay attention to what he said. There are a lot of men out there like that.
I probably won't get another relationship till I'm like 49, bro. I'm cool. Cause I got my son. It's like, bro, I don't need a girl to like love on me no type of way. Like, I really don't care. Like, the only thing different, and people might spin this to make it weird or whatever, but like, the only thing different between love from a girl and like your kid is just intimacy. That's the only difference.
Oh my God. I feel like as a dad, bro, it make me not need another woman, because I feel like as a man, a part of my need for a woman is so I can feel needed.
Right.
I don't need to feel needed by nobody else because I got my kid.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't need to spend money on nobody else because I got my kid. I can spend money on my kid. I could be there with my kid when I'm there and I'm lonely. I got my kid. My kid's gonna love me more than anybody else in this world. So I get exactly what you're saying when you say that.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, bro, I'm cool. Like if I get with a girl or whatever and she do anything to like throw me off, cool, bro. Get one chance with me. I ain't gonna lie.
A lot of men, they want to feel needed, but they don't necessarily want the emotions that come with it. I said that in the Joshua Jackson, Jody Turner Smith case study. And this is why you see that kind of behavior coming out now, where they would rather have a child by you, but not necessarily deal with you. And that's because they don't know how to connect emotionally. And he said it. He said he doesn't want the intimacy. Why? Because he doesn't know how to be intimate. He doesn't know how to be emotionally available. It's hard for him because of his issues that he has not gotten help for. So all I'm saying is that. And then when you got women saying, oh, we don't need marriage, we could just have babies. This is why I say be careful, because they have that mindset. And most of them do. Look at Duke Dennis. He got 6, 7, 11 kids. I don't know. Look at Future. All of those men have the same exact patterns and behavior. And then you want to sit here having a baby with them without commitment? Why? This is why it sets you back. They don't want to be with you. They just want to have a kid. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel like they have a purpose and they no longer need you after that. Your position has been revoked. That's what that means. Anyway, as far as her claims that he was saying something about haters coming after him because of her, y'all know sis likes to sauce it up a bit. You know, I gotta hold her accountable for that. Nowhere did I see that he said that in all of the interviews that I saw. However, I did notice in the Aiden Ross portion of the interview that he had with him, which was on May 12th, Mother's Day, Aiden Ross was going to link him up with Ruby Rose because they were both in Miami and Aiden Ross is friends with Ruby Rose. And he said no, because he has a little situation going on. And I believe, that's my speculation, now this is all speculative, I believe he's talking about India Love, because I have noticed that she appears with him quite a lot, because I had to do an extensive case study. So I've seen all the videos and it looks like they got something going on, but then I could be wrong. So that's why I said pure speculation, y'all. I also noticed that all of his exes were fire signs. India is an air sign. She's an Aquarius like me. I truly hope that she is an evolved Aquarius, because if not, baby, we got another train wreck on our hands. Let's continue with the declaration after we watch a few clips of his interviews during Mother's Day weekend.
You're doing today? What would you tell them?
You ain't got haters, you ain't popping. Do you got people hating on you right now?
I do.
Is it a lot or is it little?
Not too many, but I'm still growing as an individual.
You need more. The more haters, the better.
And when you were coming up, was there one thing a hater said to you that like stuck with you throughout your career?
Somebody told me they wanted me to die. That changed my life forever. I appreciate the people saying that, because it just made me not give a no more, you know?
Of what it's meant to be. It's supposed to be a community meant for people. and it's like they go against what they believe in. It's just wrong, bro. It's just like they hate their lives, and they're all fat. They're all fat. Yeah, when you're not here, I'm gonna go on my little own rant. I'm gonna go crazy, but I just don't like when people play with you.
I ain't gonna lie, it beat some shit in that comment section too, though.
No.
But a lot of it.
Fuck no. Hell no.
No, it's a lot of it's majority mid. But I'm saying like if you really dig in that and you really go through. Sometimes I go through it and be like, let me see you talking shit. It be some shit in there, just a little bit, but it's like 2%. You know what I mean? Most of it do be mid though.
Johnny, dap me up.
I ain't gonna lie. How much money you get?
I have a question. I might try to be weird. Ruby's in Miami. Like, are y'all? Can I invite her to the studio tonight?
Invite her to the studio is crazy, bro.
Y'all be really. Y'all are my friends, both of you.
I understand that, but just like.
Nah, be on. I mean, I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
I got situations that I gotta protect. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta. You know, I don't really want to be. You know.
Do you know what time you leaving tomorrow? Or what time you leaving to Atlanta?
On Saturday morning. I don't have. I'm gonna text you the specific time.
All right, because I got an idea. Tomorrow night before the flight, because I leave Saturday morning too. Probably got the same shit, but we're gonna do like this sip and paint.
Ooh, nice. I would love to.
Tomorrow night though, for sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
100%. You can't switch it.
I'm not gonna switch.
Alright, look like we in jail, huh?
Yes, it does. It does. I came to see my man. He got like 3 more years.
3 more years and I get out this bitch.
Having his way. He got on that when I came to see him.
I got the Maybach glasses.
Fresh Maybach glasses. Running in that shit. Damn.
And I got all the snacks.
This
got the new cheeses.
Yes, you do. You put me on. This is cute. I want this one again. I have to.
So I have a fun lady right there, but she can't leave the front
Really
desk.
nice
So you wanna go in and
Alright, bet. I'm gonna get it right
Chat, did you hear him? He said he's gonna add to my wrist. Hold him to it.
now. I'm gonna spend everything I got. Every dollar. Everything I own. Matter of fact, I'm finna sell my house and I'm finna fill your wrist all the way up to the elbow.
I seen you said you was gonna buy me a house when you was in Miami.
I'm gonna get you a house, a boat. I'm gonna sell all my cars and buy you a car.
I like your style, man.
This shit run deep.
I'm sorry for even ever like making you feel away. Like I was just being petty.
No, I know.
You know.
That's what I know. You know what I mean? I know that. That's why I always tell them, I'm like, they can't make me feel no type of way about you because I know our connection. And I know that you was only doing that to make me mad. Because I was being an asshole and I was being an ain't shit ass nigga. And I'm man enough to man up and say that. You feel me? And I want to apologize.
I want to apologize too.
It's okay. I forgive you.
You want to hug it out?
Yeah.
DDG?
I don't know no SKT. Somebody tell
India that I'm fucking. Exactly. That's
no, I don't know.
To be clear, I do not go on social media discussing our relationship or any of our issues related to our son. Only he does that. Sis is right, but she did do it once. I will say that. He is the one who creates the frenzy with his and my fan bases, and he is now going online to continue talking about it, furthering the frenzy. This is not child-centered. I have asked him to stop his behavior. He continues. He gets paid for hits, and this creates hits for him. Yeah, the clip farming. All right. And she says she asked him to stop his behavior. He doesn't want to do it because it makes him money. So this is where the lines become blurred because he's being defiant. He don't want to listen to her. He doesn't want to listen to her. He feels like he's being slighted by not being able to see his son. And thus, when she asks him to stop something, he's going to ignore her because she's not doing what he wants. So therefore, he's not going to do what she wants. But the difference is, and I hope you learned it by now, that she plays the long game. Sis is not playing with you. And she not like the other ones that you done been with. And no shade to Kennedy or Ruby Rose. First of all, Kennedy was very young, so we're going to leave that there. And Ruby, like the back and forth toxic things. Like she's not going to call the cops or she's not going to go to court. But Halle will. She's bred for that. Sis is not the same type of chicks that you done been with. So we're going to leave that there. Now, number 6. Our relationship ended in 2024 because of Darryl's temper and lack of respect towards me. I believe her. He does not respect people who do not follow what he wants. He also likes to disrespect any woman that he feels has slighted him. Even though I have heard him say in his interviews that he's no longer going to do that and he's just going to go after men when he had the whole situation with Joe Budden. However, he does do that when he gets mad, and that's whether it's male or female.
You ain't big enough to go against me. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Leave it alone. Leave it at this. Let this shit out. Don't speak on this no more. Don't let your ego up your aspirations. Don't speak on this no more.
Aspirations.
Right?
Who
Let
are
it
you
die down a week
to be
later,
giving
I got
me
a
anything?
Netflix show that just popped out.
I was on Netflix.
People talk about
years
the Netflix show, the clips,
already.
boom, boom, all that other shit. I
We
got
did
whole
Netflix
other stuff
already.
Popping on, whoop, whoop. That shit get buried in the For You. If you speak on this again, career gonna be gone. Just leave it alone. I'm trying to help you. I'm not the one.
Career is gonna be gone. Do y'all, like, he's talking like he's God. Like, I think this is honestly, like, this is how I know you cannot be a God-fearing man, because I know I can't ruin no motherfucking careers. I could taint the image. I can make a motherfucker feel differently about you. But for you to say career ruin, I promise you, unless you're Jehovah Jireh, you will not end shit around here. I promise you that. Because I don't need collaborations. I don't need a clique. I don't need a cosign. I don't need a handout. And I definitely don't need no nigga with no tight ass dreads getting to his head trying to tell me what, when, and where, and how to go.
He goes and pops off. Again, lack of emotional regulation. We done went through that. There have been numerous incidents of physical abuse even before Halle was born. I'm not saying that sis is not a victim. Please do not take it as such. What I'm saying, though, is that she was riding with him, y'all. She was riding. She wasn't a silent participant. She was very loud and very active. And it's really sad because if this has been going on their whole relationship and he's been physically abusing her, then she was keeping up the image of this relationship that she had. And she was still showing up at his family gatherings. She was still there being an active participant. Statistics say that it usually takes at least 7 attempts for a woman to leave an abuser. Now, I don't know if Halle has tried leaving him. I know that publicly, the first time that they got into it was during the Ruby Rose situation. And sis was telling us that the devil's a lie. I'll be honest with you guys. This case study is really difficult to pinpoint for the simple fact that it didn't seem like she wanted to leave. She didn't want to leave at all. She was actually okay with it. And even after they had Halo, she said he was the best dad. So from what I could see, it seemed like either she was protecting him or that she thought he would change and that she could fix him. I'm going to go with the latter here. She thought she could fix him. And she thought that all he needed was a little more loving and a little more attention. And remember, her parents, let's circle back to her childhood. Her dad had that whole DV situation according to Radar Online, allegedly. And her parents are still together. So this makes sense as to why she would stick it out. Because she's thinking that he's going to be like her dad. Because her parents had that whole situation and her dad was still able to stay married to her mother. He often calls me profanities, including often called me evil. I'm not disputing this one. I believe sis. Because remember, he called Ruby evil and demonic, and sis was hyping him up. Yeah, get a bae. And now, look at what he's doing to her. It's always going to be your turn. I promise y'all. Please do not fall for that act like they're going to be better towards you. Number 8. Since we broke up, we have had ongoing issues related to Darryl's last minute demands to see Halo without any schedule. We have proof that he did that. Y'all heard him. He will not commit to any regular visits or schedule for visits. He demands Halo when it is convenient for Darryl only. I never know when I will get Halo back or where he will be. This is a point. Okay, sis. So now I get it. So remember, he was framing it as she's the bad one. And she's not letting me see my son. Give me my son. Whole time, he's taking his son and not communicating when he will bring him back. This is a problem, especially because children need a structure and a schedule. But again, this is probably what he was used to seeing. Based on my discussions with him and his mother, I am aware that Darryl leaves Halo with his mother most of the visits, and his mother cares for Halo. And she cares for him very well. I must add that from what I've seen in the videos. I want Darryl's family to be close with Halo, but I believe Darryl should be present instead of simply leaving Halo with his family for days. This one is a tough one, sis, because you can't dictate how he spends time with his son. Unfortunately, because he is a co-parent, you cannot tell him where and when to leave his son. That is up to him. As soon as your son leaves your household, you are not able to control what he does. Now, ideally, yes, he should be spending time with his son, but he is working, and we know that his mother is going to most likely be the one to be the caretaker. Just as you, when you're working, I'm sure someone is going to be there as a caretaker. So you cannot just tell him what to do with his son. It doesn't work that day. As long as the child is being clothed, fed, and being put in a safe environment, then that's what should matter. I know that she wants the best for her son, but this is a controlling thing here. You can't tell him how to raise his son. Unfortunately, you're no longer together. You would hope, and you can tell him you don't want that, but that's not something that you can actually dictate. She said that she believes that Darryl should be present instead of simply leaving Halo with his family for days. Now, I don't know when this happened, because here, remember, she said that he's abusive and he's been abusive. And I'm sorry, if my partner's abusive, I would not want my child around them, period. But then she said, I believe he should be present instead of simply leaving Halo with his family for days. So now I'm getting this contradiction here. So I'm going to assume that this was prior to the incident that happened. So we're just going to assume that. Number 9, on January 18, 2025, Darryl called and said he was coming over to get Halo, who was just 13 months at the time. I let him into my house and asked him politely when he would bring Halo back. I have repeatedly asked Darryl to please set a schedule. He did not want to talk and refused to tell me when he would bring Halo back. He feels that he has as much rights to his son as you do. Because remember, that's the son that he wanted, the golden child. So ain't no way you won't tell him when to spend time with his child. He's not going to have it. The discussion continued as I walked with him outside to assist to put Halo into the car seat. I was buckling the baby into his seat and physically got into the back seat to adjust the car seat. I had left my front door open and was not even fully dressed, as I was not even wearing shoes. Darryl kept repeating, "Get out of my car." Halo was crying. I repeatedly pleaded with him to stop calling me a bitch. I felt very nervous, and he was taking Halo with him, and he was very agitated. I did not feel safe leaving a baby with him in this state. I also wanted to know when he would bring Halo back. He would not tell me. So the fact that she's in the back seat trying to adjust it. He's basically trying to take back the control because he thinks that she's too controlling. That's what that is. And remember, he's not able to articulate his emotions because he snaps. And so does she. Now, again, the same way that I said we have to take Darryl's account with a grain of salt when he was talking about how he wasn't able to see his son, and now we see Sis's side of the story, I'm going to have to take her account with a grain of salt here. Because after she pulled that stunt with the nail tech, that told me all I need to know, that there's more to this story. There might be more to this story, I should say. And I'm not saying I don't believe her. I believe that this did happen. But I'm just saying that there could have been more to it that we're not seeing here, because she did the same thing with the nail tech. Again, this is why you got to be careful what you do and fix them patterns, them bad habits you got. I got to be honest, because when somebody like me is able to investigate and research, I'm going to be looking at everything. And I have to put it out there that she also exhibits some signs too. I'm going to be real honest with y'all. We need to see how this unfolds in the courtroom, because it's going to be very difficult to determine what actually happened here. There's always his side, her side, and the truth. And based on these two, the truth is somewhere in the middle. So now Halo was crying. I repeatedly pleaded with him to stop calling me a bitch. I felt very nervous that he was taking Halo with him. This argument then escalated. See? Look. This argument. So they were having an argument. In order to have an argument, there's two people that are involved in it. So she said that she told him to stop calling me a bitch, and that she was pleading with him. But then she said this argument then escalated. This was not a conversation. I'm telling you, they were both going at it. Now, again, I don't know what happened. Only they know. But this is very disturbing, y'all. The next thing I knew, things got physical between us. We fought each other, wrestling and tussling. They fought each other. Notice she admitted. You know why? Let me tell y'all why she said that. Remember, she's under oath here. If I were to be called a witness, I would competently testify to what I have written in this declaration. She cannot lie. She can't lie. That's perjury. Sis knows. So now, when she's telling the story, she said, y'all gotta listen to words. Let me tell y'all something. When you're listening to conversations, reading transcripts, you have to look at the words. Words mean things. This argument, so argument is discussion, a heated discussion between two people. You can't have an argument one-sided. She didn't say the conversation. She said argument then escalated. The back and forth. Remember, she wrote it in her song. The next thing I knew, things got physical between us. So something happened. Somebody got triggered. And I'm assuming, okay, let me tell y'all. This is what I'm assuming. This is what's in my brain, because I have an imagination here. She was sitting in the back seat trying to get her son buckled up. He's thinking that she's trying to be controlling and thinking that she's not trusting him to be able to buckle up his son. He feels like a child, and he's starting to get agitated because she's not letting him be a dad. Remember, she doesn't want me to be a dad. The nanny has more privileges than I do. How dare you try to strap my son in the seat? Let me do it. Let me do it. Let me take control. And she's like, no, I want to take control. No, I want to take control. All right. So now we got that. He's telling her to get out the car. He doesn't know how to talk to people. He likes to yell at women. And we've seen it before. He terrorizes women. So I know he done call her that. I know he called her that for sure. So now he's telling her to get out the car. She's not getting out the car. I'm assuming that he physically dragged her out of the car. Because I don't think for 1 minute that he would just stand there and say, get out my car. Get out my car. Get out my car. Get out my car. No, he dragged. Because remember, if you're in the back seat, you're leaned like this. And you're strapping your child. He must have taken her from there and grabbed her and tossed her out. That's what I think. I think he took her from the back seat and dragged her out. And then she said we fought each other, wrestling and tussling. They started scrapping. Now, y'all gotta pay attention to this. We fought each other. I've done 3 DV cases on my channel, y'all. 3 DV. 4 DV. But one of them was in the membership. It's on my Rumble. All of the accounts, let me tell you what happened. 3 of them, they were very, very clear that this person started hitting them. They said, he hit me. He started beating on me. I did this and then he beat me. But sis said we fought each other wrestling and tussling. They was knucking and bucking, y'all. And again, if they are similar and they both have anxious attachment style, so they both want to control the narrative and the situation. And sis said that she likes to pop off, and our brother Darryl said he likes to pop off too. So someone's reacting to the violence and the other one is initiating the violence. We don't know who's who, but someone's fighting back. At one point, Darryl was pulling my hair. He then slammed my face on the steering wheel, causing my tooth to get chipped. Okay, so now something is not right. She said I was buckling the baby into his seat and physically got into the back seat to adjust the car seat. She's in the back seat, y'all. How did she get to the steering wheel? Y'all, this is very sad. It's very sad. Their child had to witness this. Again, when you have these type of personalities and no one has ever sought help for it, then this is going to just reoccur. Remember with Darryl Sr., he said that he and his ex-wife, which is DDG's mom, they used to get into it. Now, he didn't say it the same way that they're going through, but he said that she would, hit his car. She took out the rear view mirror and they would just start scrapping. They would just argue. And then with Halle, her parents had the DV situation. And you have 2 children coming from these tumultuous households, and they're repeating the same patterns. And their son is watching. So what do you think is going to happen if they don't seek help to fix this? He's just going to repeat it. This is how generational patterns get repeated. So now her tooth is chipped. I then stopped fighting back as I was in a lot of pain. I wanted to get out of the car with Halo, but was now stuck. So I noticed that she said the next thing I knew, things got physical between us. She didn't say who started or initiated it. That's a red flag, y'all. Just letting y'all know. That's not looking good for sis. Who initiated it? That's the question I have. And the courts are going to determine that, y'all. So we're going to have to wait until the court hearing. Darryl then said that since I would not leave the baby in the car, he would take me with them. He drove quickly towards his house. When we arrived at his house, I was crying and told his family what happened. I begged his family who were there to help me figure out a schedule with him. They said just leave Halo and go. I left hysterical. I had bruises over my arms and a chipped tooth. True and correct copies of pictures of the bruises in my tooth are attached here too as Exhibit 1. I believe you, sis. I know something happened, y'all. There's definitely a tussle. That's for sure. And her tooth got chipped. That's for sure. This is not a normal occurrence, y'all. When they got to the house, the family automatically told her to leave Halo and go. They didn't even want to listen to sis. They just told her to leave and get gone. They don't believe her. Or they do believe her and they know that this is a normal occurrence between them and they're always scrapping. But either way, the family doesn't seem too concerned. And this is highly concerning because the fact that this is normalized and they're like, go home and just leave Halo. But then this is where I have to question sis. You went there and you begged the family to help you figure out a schedule with him, but he just beat you. Allegedly, y'all just got into a fight. Y'all just got into a fight and you're trying to work out a schedule with him? Now, I'm trying to figure out, where's her village? Where are her parents? Well, we can't even call her parents, because they just gonna tell her to stick it out. Her sisters, she doesn't have anyone around her, y'all, to put some sense into her head. There should not have been a schedule after this. This is alarming, y'all. All she wanted was to figure out a schedule with him, even after they went and tussled with each other. That just lets me know that this relationship has always been this way. It's always been toxic, y'all. It's always been toxic. On March 3rd, 2025, Darryl had Halo in his care. I was to pick up Halo at 3 p.m. that day. So imagine, this happened in January, and they are still co-parenting. And sis just let it go. But that lets me know two things. One, that she did not want to go up against him and his family, and she still had feelings for him and was trying to work it out with him. That lets me know that. Or number two, sis knew that she was complicit and she was just trying to make peace with him. Because this incident happened January 18th. We are March 3rd. That's almost 2 months. And they are still co-parenting. Instead, at approximately 12 p.m., while I was away from my home, Darryl came to my home and entered my home without my permission or knowledge. He does not have a key to my home. I will bring a copy of the Ring camera footage from that day that shows Darryl entering my sliding door on the side of my house and going upstairs. After he entered my home, Darryl then went to my bedroom and sent me pictures of my empty bed. He sent me a threatening text, "Now I know what you've been on, LOL," which I understood to be accusing me of having sex with other men. Exhibit 2. This left me feeling very unsafe and nervous that he would enter my home again when I was there. I believe sis on this one. Remember, he's impulsive, and he did the same to his ex when he showed up at her house unannounced. And so now he's trying to keep tabs on who she's with, but I thought that y'all moved on from each other. Ain't that what y'all told us? And that y'all were not messing with each other. This gives me messing around vibes. I'm just giving my opinion. They were still dealing with each other. Either they were still messing around or he was still trying to control her. But I'm going to go with the fact that they were still messing around. This is giving me baby daddy, baby mama. We not together, but we still together. But we together for the kids, but we not together. This is giving me this vibe. I don't know. It's giving me possessive and obsessive right here. On March 7, 2025, Halo and I were both sick with RSV at my home. Darryl stopped by to see Halo. I had already warned about our sickness. I made it clear to him that I did not want Halo leaving my home because he was sick. When I told Darryl that, he became angry with me. Of course, because he wanted to take his son. Remember, I want to be able to take my son whenever I want to. This is what happens. He raised his voice and became verbally abusive toward me, hurling bad names at me. He then saw that the Ring camera was recording. He unplugged the Ring camera, opened the side door, and threw the Ring camera out of my home. I went outside to retrieve the Ring camera. He then locked me out of my house. This man is a menace, y'all. I went around the back and came into the house through another entrance. I plugged the camera back in and called my family member for help. Finally, a family member is here. I plugged the camera back in and called my family member for help. I'm assuming it's her sister because they live in the same complex. The rest of my video, for some reason, had audio issues. I'm just going to continue and just use my voice recording. At some point, while he was distracted, I was able to get Halo from him. Darryl then ran out of the house with my phone. I followed, begging to please give my phone back. He got into his car and closed the car door on me while I was holding Halo. Darryl then drove off and threw my phone out the window and yelled, "Go get it, B-word." This type of back and forth, my goodness. And he did that because he just wanted to get his son and leave. So I'm not surprised that he did this, if this is true. And the thing is that she was trying to get Halo from him because, remember, he showed up unannounced and their son was sick. And I understand where she's coming from. When you have a sick child, why would you want them to go outside? And remember, in his account, he said that he was trying to stay in the house with her, but she didn't want him there. And so he got upset and had a temper tantrum. As a result of this incident, I filed a police report. I am attaching as Exhibit 3 a true copy of the police card and incident report case number, and then they put the file number there. I will obtain a copy of that police report for the hearing. This lack of schedule and Darryl's random demands caused me great distress. I am a singer and actress. I am often on set or having to arrange my schedule ahead of time. I must be able to work. People begin threatening me, and this creates fear for me. Yes, that is very true, especially with the internet. People are extremely unhinged and just violent. They say the most vile things because they can hide behind the computer screen. And so now she doesn't know where these threats are coming from, who's going to take it very seriously. There are some deranged people out there, so this is actually a rational fear. I have attempted to work with Darryl to set up a schedule for Halo, but he refuses to talk to me and just goes live to blast me to his fans. That is what he does. Sometimes he does do that. I also continue to try to work with his mother to try to arrange time for Darryl to be with Halo. I was filming in New Jersey last month and arranged for his mother to come and take Halo to visit with his father. In coordinating the trip, I learned that Darryl had purchased a one-way ticket for his mother to come to New Jersey and to take Halo to him. He demanded I pay the cost of the return ticket and would not book it. I don't understand why she would have to pay for the one-way ticket for him to return back to her. Sir, you decided to take your son, and it's your scheduled time. The same way you went to pick him up, you got to send him back, and vice versa. I don't see what is so complicated about this. They're making this way more complicated than it needs to be. Why? Because they're toxic. In coordinating the trip, I learned that Darryl had purchased a one-way ticket for his mother to come to New Jersey and to take Halo to him. I had a lawyer get involved in order to protect our son and draft an agreement to ensure that our son would be returned to me, Exhibit 4. I was glad that I could facilitate the visit, but it created tremendous stress for me and disrupted my work while I was dealing with Darryl's threats. Just childish, y'all. Immature, childish. Lord. The court should also be aware that Darryl's mother and I discussed further visits after the visit last month, but Darryl chose not to see our son. This is not unusual. Darryl often goes weeks without contact, then demands Halo that very day. Yeah, he has a very unpredictable schedule, but this is no excuse. Darryl's mother and I also discussed that I would be back in Los Angeles with Halo, returning on May 11th, 2025. Our communication evidencing these discussions are attached as Exhibit 5. Then, on May 5th, 2025, the night of the Met Gala, Darryl started up again online. He went live on his Twitch channel voicing that he was unable to see his son, implying that I was keeping Halo from him. Yeah, every time she had to work, he would interrupt. And we've seen that, especially with the Little Mermaid premiere, y'all. He would show up online and start doing things that would derail from her and make people be upset with her, especially when it comes to his son. And I didn't even show you guys when he said that Kennedy Simone is his favorite ex. And you see, when he would make little remarks like that, have little interviews, it would then put her name back online. And that would cause her distress. And yes, that is very, very accurate. He then created a firestorm of media around freeing Halo from me. See various social media messages directed at me, collectively Exhibit 6. His fans then began accusing me of refusing to share Halo and being out partying with other men. Given the fact that Darryl's mother and I texted about my whereabouts a week prior and Darryl did not wish to see Halo after this last visit, the timing of his Twitch post was intended to ruin my night, which it did. I could not concentrate or be present at the Met Gala. I was worried about the situation again. Yes. So, chill. He was basically upset. He got jealous. That's all that is. And so instead of fixing his insecurity, he would rather go online. Every time this happens, I feel scared, anxious, and worry about Halo's safety, as well as my own. I have noticed a pattern of Darryl doing this when I have events related to my career, although I am trying to work hard to provide for our son. Yes, he does have a pattern, sis. He does. But what I will say, though, is that you were still trying to co-parent with him. And that is what I am questioning. Unfortunately, I have to question because you know this, and yet you were still trying to co-parent with him and not going to court. You let all this happen. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, why did it take so long to go to court? Likewise, the weekend of Mother's Day, May 9th through 11th, 2025, I left New Jersey with Halo and went on a short vacation with my sister. Darryl again accused me of being with other men and posting about my relationship with other men. See Exhibit 7, a true and correct copy of social media post that Darryl began texting me. He did. And why? Because DJ Academic's old messy behind decided to reveal that her and Brent Fias were in the same location. And y'all know how Darryl gets when he's jealous and upset. So he started going online. And you all know the story. As always, this caused me great distress. I even texted him hoping he would stop. Exhibit 8. Darryl, are you not tired of harassing me? You make up a new lie on me every day. I'm in St. Lucia having fun with Shermae and Chloe, not with my man out here. I wouldn't do that. I have Halo. I told your mom I was going to be with your sister last week. Please let me enjoy my Mother's Day in peace. I hope you're okay and feel better soon. And I believe her on that. I don't think that she was there with that guy. She loved that man way too much. She loved him way too much. And it never gave that she would cheat on him. That's just my opinion. More recently, this has become extremely upsetting to me because Darryl refuses to work with my attorney to set up any schedule. Yeah, because he wants to keep this cycle going. He does not mind that cycle because he wanted you there anyways. Because you his baby mama, you're his BM. Remember, Offset said that, you my BM, I won. That's how they think. That's that mindset. Instead, he is threatening that he will take our son 50% of the time and pay me zero support. It should be noted that he has never paid me child support. I'm not surprised, girl. He is petty. He is not going to pay you child support. And remember, when he was in the car with Kennedy talking about, I'm going to take the kid from you and then I'm going to put you on child support. And when he was arguing with your likeness on the AI screen, he said the same thing. So we shouldn't be surprised. It should be noted that he has never paid me child support and I have never sought child support from him. He should have. I have asked him, however, to contribute to Halo's expenses. Only on one occasion has he done so. Yeah, that's why I said you should have. Because now, if you don't have anything set in place and the law is not obligating him to do it, then he'll do it whenever he feels like. Just like with the schedule. He'll do it when he feels like it. For any of my ladies, if you find yourself to be a single mom and, life didn't turn out the way that it should have, get that man on child support. Have a legal paperwork, y'all. Paperwork is there for a reason. Have documentation. It makes your life easier, and then it is easier for your child as well and sets up structure for you guys. Don't let a man just do as he pleases. He's going to take advantage of it, especially somebody like Darryl. I am contractually committed to be filming a movie out of the country in Italy on June 7th, 2025 for approximately 8 weeks. I have been and remain the only caretaker of Halo throughout his entire life. I do not believe it is in Halo's best interest to be left with Darryl or more likely his mother because Darryl leaves town on a weekly basis most weeks, especially for the entire 8 weeks. I am seeking permission to take Halo with me to Italy so I can continue caring for him. I am contractually bound to be in Italy to film. I have family and a nanny who will be traveling with me to care for Halo while I am working. I have done everything possible to avoid going to court. Nah, sis, you should have been going to court. You see, you trying to be accommodating and sweet, and this is what's going to happen. Now it's messy. You can't be accommodating. You need to go to court when you're dealing with somebody like him. That's just what it is. I know that we're taught to, put ourselves in other people's shoes and, have empathy. Nah, there's some people you can't have empathy for. This is what's getting people tied up and unalived. Stop it. Don't have empathy for them. If you see their actions are a danger to you and your child, or they are not acting in the way that is healthy for you and your child, you're going to take it up the legal way. That's it. That's all. There's no excuse for that. I'm sorry. Don't try to accommodate, the family. Get the legal paperwork. Because now look at this. Look at this. This could have all been avoided, y'all, had they just done this from the beginning. I have tried to placate Darryl by providing him access to Halo, even though he is not with Halo and often leaves Halo with his mother. I have facilitated his visits no matter where I am and often last minute. I realize that there is no placating Darryl. I cannot allow this abuse any longer. I cannot keep living like this. I never know when he is going to demand our son to be in his mother's care and whether I will be subjected to his threats and abuse. As of the date I am signing this declaration, Darryl is in Miami online railing against me. Y'all saw the videos. So yeah, this one we're gonna have to put that on hold. Unless there's more proof that we don't see. But I wasn't able to see much online railing against her. But, you know, that's how she sees it. So we're just gonna leave it at that. Alleging he cannot see his son. He is not in Los Angeles. I had planned on Darryl picking up Halo on Monday yesterday at my home in Los Angeles. His attorney has not responded to mine to arrange for the visit. This is not child-centered, and Halo is only being used to further his fan base and online presence. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. Executed on May 13, 2025, and is signed Halle Bailey. Y'all, there have been a lot of recent developments in this story. So as you all know, Halle filed for her emergency temporary restraining order about 2 to 3 weeks ago. And they were supposed to have a court date on Wednesday to discuss it. Now, the court date has been delayed. Why has it been delayed? Because DDG has since responded with his own emergency temporary restraining order. I will just say that his allegations are extremely explosive. I am not surprised in the slightest because they both have exhibited toxic behaviors, which I've covered in extensive detail. If you haven't watched the other case studies, please do. So just like I read Halle's declaration and statements to the court, we will also read DDG's statements because there's a lot to uncover here. So let's start. I, Darryl Granberry Jr., declare and state as follows. I am the respondent in this action. I have firsthand personal knowledge of the facts contained in this declaration, and if called as a witness, I could and would competently testify hereto under oath. I offer this declaration in lieu of personal testimony pursuant to SS 2009 and 20215.5 of the Code of Civil Procedure and Marriage of Stevenot. I submit this declaration in support of my request for a domestic violence restraining order request against petitioner Halle Bailey, herein after petitioner, the mother of our son Halo St. Granberry, herein referenced as Halo. Okay, so now he gives a background. I am a musician, having enjoyed a successful career since 2017 as a multi-platinum rapper, singer, and songwriter. I maintain a large presence on YouTube and social media. Petitioner is a singer, actress, and songwriter, having had success in R&B and film. Petitioner and I began dating in or around November 2021. So, this means that when they were seen at Usher's party, which was in January of 2022, they had already been dating for a few months. Okay, that makes sense. We share one child together, Halo, born on December 22nd, 2023. Our relationship quickly became volatile and was marked by repeated arguments, threats, and physical altercations. So, he and Halle both said that when they started their relationship, it was toxic from the jump. While I have made every effort to be as precise as possible with the dates, the abuse inflicted by petitioner occurred so frequently and pervasively throughout our relationship that it is difficult to recall the exact dates of each incident. Y'all both was into it. Let's be real. Listen, I understand that this is a legal document and y'all are both under oath. But like I said, the truth is somewhere in the middle because we have to take his account with a grain of salt and Sis's account with a grain of salt because they both like to flower things up and leave important information behind. Additionally, petitioner has engaged in the following conduct, thereby perpetrating abuse upon/against me as recognized pursuant to the Domestic Violence Prevention Act. Summary of abuse perpetrated upon me. Petitioner routinely used emotional coercion, including but not limited to threats of self-harm when I attempted to leave the relationship and or establish boundaries. Y'all, this is not good. And I could already see a bit of that behavior with the manipulation. So I'm not surprised that she would threaten to self-harm as a way to kind of change the narrative or guilt trip, because I had mentioned it in part 4. I could definitely see that sis has a tendency to guilt trip people. And this type of behavior is not something that just came up out of nowhere. My assumption and opinion is that this is something that stems from childhood, and it could have been a way for her to express herself, especially in the household that she was in. So unfortunately, we won't know. That's for her and her psychologist to figure out. But I will say that I don't think that this just showed up in a relationship. It was probably triggered, but this is not something that just came out of nowhere. I believe it was dormant. The next point is petitioner weaponized our pregnancy, demanding reconciliation or placing me in the impossible situation of being threatened that she would abort our baby should I not reconcile or accede to her demands. I actually believe this as well. Darryl wanted a baby. We already seen that from part 1. That's all he wanted was a baby. All right. So I could see him having a baby and not wanting to commit. I could definitely see that happening. And being that they started off as toxic and always arguing and fighting. And remember, she got pregnant right after the whole Ruby Rose situation. Either maybe the times were pretty close to each other. They definitely overlapped. They were already unstable because of the cheating allegations and them breaking up frequently, even though we didn't see it in the public, but it sounds like they would just keep doing that, and this toxic cycle of whatever was going on between them. So I could see her definitely using that as a manipulation tactic, because again, we've seen signs of that manipulative behavior. Once it is easy for someone to lie or manipulate, then they could do it in any type of situation. That's just my opinion. The third point, petitioner on multiple occasions invaded my privacy by going through my phone while I was asleep. I'm not surprised about that one either. Petitioner engaged in physical abuse perpetrated upon me by slapping and punching me during an August 2024 altercation over my phone. Yeah, because you was texting other girls. Let's just keep it real, Darryl. You've been with other women, okay? And you said her head game was weak. And I'm pretty sure that you were talking to other women, because if you're saying that she coerced you into a relationship when she got pregnant and you were just trying to do right by her as the mother of your child, then I definitely believe that you were out there creeping. And you were creeping from before. You were not interested in her like that. You probably were in the beginning, but something happened along the way. And once she got pregnant, you got what you wanted and you was out. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a stack. Petitioner repeatedly struck me while driving a car on August 16, 2024, while leaving the Bruno Mars concert in Los Angeles. Petitioner repeatedly struck me while driving in a car on August 16, 2024, while leaving the Bruno Mars concert in Los Angeles. Wow. And this was about a year and some change after she gave birth. So next point. Petitioner repeatedly struck me while we were parked outside her house during a custody exchange on January 18, 2025. Then falsely claimed I slammed her head into the steering wheel. Okay, so that's the incident where she showed pictures of her bruises. Petitioner on multiple occasions has physically attacked me during custodial exchanges of Halo, including but not limited to grabbing and pulling Halo from my arms. This is very sad, y'all. And remember, he's under oath, so I don't think he's lying. He has to tell the truth here or he's going to commit perjury, and that's jail time. So I believe him. However, I believe there's more to the story, as with Sis's account. Petitioner has surveyed me through the surreptitious use of Apple AirTags placed within my vehicles. Not Sis dropping AirTags, Lord. Now, I did see some people online saying, well, it was for her son. She wants to know where her son is. Listen, if you're going to drop AirTags, both parties should know about it. But they were in such an unhealthy place, they couldn't even communicate with each other. Because she could have been like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to put an AirTag on Halo just to track him. Yeah, no problem. But they're not healthy. So he's going to think that she's putting an AirTag to track him because they've been in a toxic relationship this whole time. So of course there's no trust. They're just bonded together by their son and their love for their son. Next, petitioner shows up uninvited to events, including a movie theater and studio sessions, often resulting in confrontation. So she creeping up to see who he with. Yeah, Hallie's definitely giving me Diary of a Mad Black Woman. He was playing games, but you know what? I don't think she was doing it on her own, to be honest with you. Now, remember, sis did a song titled Back and Forth, and we read the lyrics. So that shows me that he's acting like, oh, I was done. But y'all know how dudes are when they act like they're done. They're not really done. So he was probably showing through his actions that he still want to be with her. I believe that they were still kind of dealing with each other. But because he's quote unquote single, he decided to be with other women. And she got upset because every time that he's with her, she's probably thinking like she's going to get her family back. And then he be on his fuck shit. That's pretty much what it is. Let's read the next point. Petitioner pushed me and attempted to attack my companion while outside a movie theater in June of 2023. Okay, so June of 2023. They were not together because they had their son in December of 2023. So he was with somebody else at the movies while she was preggo. This man is trash. Y'all remember, she got pregnant around February, March. That's 3 months into her pregnancy. You notice how he put companion. It wasn't a man. He was with a woman. Why was he going on dates while she was pregnant? And they were still together. So this is worse than I thought. So he cheated on her. Mind you, the whole Ruby Rose situation happened and sis was writing for him talking about the devil's a liar. Then he went and did it again. He been cheating on her. Allegedly, he's been cheating on her, but this is what I could conclude based on this point, because why is he with a companion outside of the movie theater in June of 2023? So basically, she had a feeling that he was cheating and she went to go creep on them, and then she saw him and got angry. This is why I mentioned reactive anger when I did part 3 with Ruby Rose. Because he did the same thing. When she snatched his chain, it was because he had booked a girl's flight and for her to come and see him while he was still dealing with Ruby. This is the type of cycle he had his women in, and then he wants to feign ignorance like, oh my gosh, she's just crazy out of nowhere. Now, I'm not trying to say that he's responsible for her actions, because we all have choices to make and decisions to make. But what I'm trying to say is, when somebody's not in the right frame of mind, you can't expect them to make rational decisions. Sis was pregnant, but even before she was pregnant, sis had some issues that she had to address. Sis was not operating within the right frame of mind, to be honest with you. She's trying to figure out what's going on because this man literally impregnated her and then he's gone. And this is her first relationship, y'all. This is very tragic. Let's continue. Petitioner has frequently used racial slurs and profane language directed at me in front of others, including family, friends, and our child. Yeah, she probably called him the N-word and told him he ain't nothing. I don't know how that go, child. Petitioner has denigrated and demeaned my masculinity, saying I wasn't enough of a man for her. Oh, wow. I mean, listen, Darryl, you was being sassy sometimes, I'll be honest with you. And you're very emotional. Extremely emotional, and those traits can be a turn off for women, so I can see that happening. And when she said you wasn't enough of a man for her, it's by your actions. I'm sure you was doing some stuff too. Let's not act like you was just so perfect and she just started yelling at you out of nowhere. And also, what did you say to her? Because remember, when you was with Kennedy, y'all admitted that y'all would say the worst things to each other back and forth, and you did the same with Ruby. So I'm inclined to believe that you did the same with Halle. Next, petitioner exercises coercive control over me by withholding access to our son Halo based upon my refusal to abide by her dictates or demands. I believe that she has a strong attachment to her son, but I will also say that she is showing signs of using her son as a way to control him. She has, guys. That's what it looks like. I'm sorry. That's my opinion. So I could definitely see this happening. Petitioner frequently changes agreed upon custody arrangements without notice, denying my access to Halo as a tool for control or punishment. I do not believe this. Remember the video that he did where he said that he wanted to be able to pick up his son whenever he wanted to. So that lets me know that you didn't want to abide by a schedule. And when you were ready to pick Halo up, then all of a sudden people got to drop everything and be at your whim. No, it doesn't work like that, sir. So this one I do not believe at all, based on the conversations that he has had with his live stream members and also just his behavior overall. Next, petitioner blocks communications, demanding that all communications involving Halo proceed through my mother. Yeah, because you're crazy. You are unhinged. Lord knows what you be saying to her. And you probably don't even answer your phone. So yes, I agree with her on that. She needs somebody who's going to consistently respond to her. You look like the type that's going to read her text and not respond for hours. I can already tell because you're so quote unquote busy and you're on live stream all dang on day. So of course you're going to make her wait. And unfortunately, when you're dealing with someone with a child, they need to know where their child is and what they're doing at all times. So I agree with sis on that. I don't think there's a problem with her putting the communication through his mother. And another thing is that he is emotionally abusive. So who knows what he was telling her in these text messages? Sir, please. Petitioner during emotional outbursts has destroyed my personal property, including my laptop that contained critical music and content work. All right, so sis was angry, y'all. I told y'all Diary of a Mad Black Woman. She was angry. But that's no excuse to destroy people's personal property. That's what I'm saying, like lack of emotional regulation on both sides. Petitioner stole my legally owned firearm during an argument in August of 2023 and was found outside the house in possession of it. Sis was pregnant, y'all. And some people are talking about, perinatal depression, but sis was struggling with something from before that. Based on the information that I see and from her responses in situations and also her childhood situation, sis was going through a lot mentally. And I think pregnancy just heightened the hormones. This is supposed to be the most happiest and peaceful time of your life. And you got to deal with this man. And not only that, but remember when she was pregnant, she wasn't telling the world she was pregnant. She was gaslighting people. And now we see that it was because she was dealing with all this. Next section, relationship timeline and emotional coercion. In early 2022, our relationship deteriorated after petitioner became verbally aggressive, largely due to her growing hostility related to my professional collaborations with other women and her fixation on my past relationships. So remember, that was around the time that he was texting Ruby. Listen, the way he's framing it is as if she's just being aggressive and jealous. But remember, we got the receipts, y'all. He messaged Ruby first, talking about WYO. What you on? Thank you, y'all, in the comments that let me know what that was, because I was so confused. But yes, he messaged her, what you on? For him to be able to do that, they definitely had a rapport. He was texting her, y'all, this whole time he was with Halle. He was double dipping. He had side chicks. That's what he does. Now he's put her in a position where she always has to chase him. This man had her anxiety on high alert. Now, let's continue hearing this. During Grammy weekend in February 2022, petitioner became enraged over text messages between me and a previous girlfriend. So he talking about Ruby. An argument ensued wherein petitioner texted another man to arranging to meet at 2 a.m. following a Grammy after party. So they was both doing tit for tat. Like I said, they both mirrored each other. You can't tell me otherwise. Although my messages were platonic in nature. No, they weren't. Stop lying, Darryl. They were not platonic. Please. Because right after you texted WYO. Come on now. And she dropped the receipts. And that was around Valentine's Day, which matches with the Grammys. Because the Grammys is always the first 2 weeks of February. So come on now. Let's stop playing games. I hope the judge watches my case study. I really hope the judge watches my case study so he could get all the information. Because this don't make no sense. You lying on this. Now, this is a lie right here. Y'all see what he's doing here? He's laying out the story, but leaving out the details. That's how he plays mind games. Petitioner fixated on them and retaliated by texting this other individual. I think this is where that friend said it was Brent Fayaz. It was definitely Brent Fayaz, because that makes sense. Remember, the friend that I showed y'all earlier in this video said that, oh, around the time the whole Ruby Rose thing, she cheated on him with Brent. She did not cheat on him. This is what y'all consider cheating. Remember, the friend made it seem like she actually full-blown cheated on him. But look at the story. He was texting Ruby, and then she texted Brent, allegedly. That's according to the information that we can see. So now he's trying to flip it on her, but mind you, he chasing up behind Ruby at Carisha's party. This is why it's important to know the whole entire story. I don't just make long parts just to hear myself talk. I make long parts so you guys can see every single detail as much as possible, so that you can come to the correct conclusion. Because cherry picking and choosing what you want to take out of a story and doing short stories is never going to show the full picture. But now we could debunk all of this because we already done seen the videos and the proof is in the pudding. Let's continue. This marked the point at which I attempted to end our relationship. Yeah, because you wanted to be for the streets. You wanted to go outside and you realized, oh, you know what? I'm not going to do this no more. I'm going to go and be with the girls I really want to be with. I want to be free. I'm tired of this relationship stuff. That's what you wanted to do. Despite my attempts to end the relationship, Petitioner continued to contact and pursue me. So it was all one-sided. This is giving me Justin Bieber and Hali. And I'm starting to feel that way because she's doing all the chasing. Halle, they both doing the chasing. They are so beautiful, successful, have so much to offer, and here they go chasing these man babies, these immature narkies.
Come on. She don't know how to ride a bike. You okay? I'm sorry.
When Haley fell and started running after Justin.
Go, Haley, don't fall, oh my God. Over time, her persistence elicited a sense of sympathy in me, not him having pity. Now it makes sense why he would make these little slick remarks about her and shade her, and why he was always sabotaging her. He doesn't see her as someone that he would actually be with, like for real. He just wanted a vessel to have his child. Remember, he was manifesting his son. And she's beautiful, smart. She has all of the qualities. Let me tell y'all something, real talk. Sometimes men just see you as a mother figure and someone that they could have a child with, but not necessarily a life partner. That's why you always have to be careful having a baby with a man. And people will say, well, having a baby before wedlock, it's okay, it doesn't matter. Now, again, I understand that there are a lot of toxic relationships where them getting married would not have been beneficial. But what I'm trying to say is you want to set yourself up to have the best outcome. See, men have this kind of mindset. A lot of them do, where they can see you as a mother, but not necessarily as a wife. And this was definitely that situation. He saw her as someone who could have his baby. That's all. He's never had that kind of commitment to her. It was all just performative. But in reality, listen to what he's saying. It elicited a sense of sympathy in me, which ultimately led to our reconciliation. He didn't say it's because I love her, actually. And you know what? I know that we've both had this kind of toxic back and forth, but I actually really love her. He said sympathy. Y'all pay attention to those words. He never loved her. And this was her first serious boyfriend, y'all. Unfortunately, following our reunion, her behavior grew increasingly volatile, characterized by escalating verbal abuse and eventually physical aggression. Shortly thereafter, we reconciled. So again, this back and forth. He's never had a relationship without this toxic back and forth. And despite our best intentions, the relationship continued to suffer because of petitioner's insecurity. This man is a lie. What? Y'all did not see that AI Halle and DDG when he was basically fighting and arguing with an AI because he was jealous that Usher fed her a cherry. See, let's not get it twisted. Although I believe he did not love her, he wanted to possess her. That's what happens in these type of relationships. They may not love you, but they don't want no one else to have you. Insecurity is your middle name, Darryl Jr. You are highly insecure. Come on now. Petitioner continued to accuse me of impropriety whenever I spent time in the studio or collaborated with female artists or content creators. Petitioner would initiate arguments premised upon speculation and jealousy. I could see that happening because she admitted that. Her constant accusations, having no basis in fact, utterly destroyed my peace of mind and emotional calm. Now, let's be real and clear. You did the same with her with The Little Mermaid and all the other movies she did. Remember the song Famous? Holding hands with your co-star, that's a no-no. You know I'm insecure. But yet he wants to flip it on her now. Petitioner would routinely compare our relationship to those I had with former partners, particularly another rapper and a popular content streamer. I think he's talking about Ruby here. So she was jealous of Ruby. Competing with Ruby. Ruby's in another league, and there's nothing wrong with that. And Ruby's a beautiful woman. I could see why she would be kind of intimidated by that. But Halle, you're also beautiful too. But I think what it is that she's more his speed, whereas Halle is more of the innocent, girl who doesn't have much life experience, not much sexual experience. So it could be that she's intimidated by her because, remember, he literally was low-key saying that she didn't sexually satisfy him the way that others did. And I'm sure he threw that in her face. He looks like the type that would do that. Petitioner would use these comparisons to undermine and criticize me. As a result of petitioner's jealousies and insecurities, I found myself entangled in an on-again, off-again relationship marked by ongoing emotional volatility, unresolved conflict, and repeated attempts at reconciliation that ultimately failed to establish lasting stability. Sir, all of your relationships were like that. So please stop it. Stop it right now. You've been this way. Why are you acting like this is something new to you? This is what's getting me. Number 9, petitioner conduct interference with respect to my access and time spent with Halo is used to control me. Petitioner limits my ability to be a father to our son, particularly when I refuse to accede to her demands. Petitioner's obstruction is retaliatory and habitually occurs when I refuse to follow petitioner's dictates. Petitioner will attempt to exert control over my streaming content, my streaming associations, or my refusal to reconcile with her. I believe that because that whole Kaisenat situation, that already let me know that. And also, he films with a lot of women, and putting her son around a lot of women would make her feel upset. He does his live streams late at night, probably around a lot of women, and also he's around a lot of different people, and that's actually not a safe environment for a small child to be in. So I can understand why she needs to know what he's doing and who he's with. Now, he's thinking that she's trying to exert control over him, but what she's trying to do is kind of know who he's around. I think that is valid because especially with a lot of, abuse that goes on with children and people who are in and out of environments and houses, and also the fact that if he's working, who's taking care of the kid? I know that his mom does. What if his mom cannot always watch his son? He has to be responsible for that. So I understand where she's coming from, and I don't think that's too much of an ask, in my opinion, especially when it comes to a young child who is not able to speak or kind of defend themselves. Number 10, despite multiple attempts to reconcile for the sake of our child, petitioner's behavior has escalated to include physical violence, emotional manipulation, threats of self-harm, and coercive control. I am now seeking protection for myself and our son. All right, Darryl, let's continue. The next section, petitioner's verbal abuse of me. Number 11, petitioner habitually used verbally abusive and profane language, often yelling F you N-word, stupid ass N-word, stupid ass B-word, and calling me a B-word during arguments. I'm sure you did the same, sir, because we know how you roll. Petitioner would frequently denigrate and demean me by telling me I am not enough of a man for her. These verbal assaults often occurred in the presence of others, including family members, and most troubling for me, our infant child. Yeah, that's not right. That's not right at all. That's not right at all. Incidents of this nature occurred repeatedly throughout our relationship. Yeah, the fact that they were getting into arguments in front of family and friends, like, that is alarming to me. I'm just, again, asking myself, why is no one seeking help? Because it doesn't sound like they are both in any type of care of a professional. Sis said she had postpartum depression. I understand that. And she's probably had other issues, but the behavior keeps going. So that leads me to believe that nothing was being handled or managed. Pregnancy-related emotional abuse and coercion. Despite the instability, petitioner disclosed in or about April of 2023 that she was pregnant with our son. We had multiple conversations of our plans to co-parent together, even though our relationship had ended. Hold up. So let me get this straight. Y'all went through that whole Ruby Rose situation. Halle then tweeted, best V-Day ever. Y'all was in a relationship. So why is he acting like their relationship had ended? So I'm assuming it had ended after Valentine's Day. It had to be, because they were still together around Valentine's Day. And he was still posting videos on his YouTube channel. He trapped her, y'all. He trapped her. He just wanted to have a baby. And once he got that baby, then he wanted to co-parent. Despite recognizing that our relationship was unstable, I still wanted to move forward with having our child and was prepared to take on that responsibility. We already know, because you was trying to have the child since Kennedy. And remember, Kennedy had a miscarriage. At the same time, I made it clear to petitioner that I would support whatever decision she ultimately made regarding the pregnancy, so long as I was kept informed and included in the process. My only request was to be part of the decision. Yeah, because, I mean, you're going to give her the decision, but you probably figured that she wouldn't want to get rid of the baby. In June of 2023, I discovered petitioner attempted to terminate the pregnancy without my knowledge or consent, regardless of our prior discussion to parent the child together. You see, the words changed here. So remember, he said that I would support whatever decision she made as long as she let me know. Then he's saying in the next section that she wanted to terminate the pregnancy without my knowledge or consent, regardless of our prior discussions to parent the child together. This sounds more definite here, that we had a discussion for us to parent the child together. On or about June 6, 2023, petitioner contacted me complaining that she was bleeding and in pain. In my effort to assist, I contacted her OBGYN and learned that petitioner had attempted to abort the baby but failed to take the second dose. Following this discovery, I spoke to petitioner and asked why she would abort our child after we had agreed to co-parent together. You see, so he didn't give her a decision. This was very confusing. He's speaking out of both sides of his mouth, saying that he would support whatever decision she made, but then saying we had decided to co-parent together. So then there was no choice. You wanted her to have the baby. So again, that further proves that he trapped her. Petitioner threatened me by demanding that we reconcile or she would go through with the abortion. This was the most troubling of her attempts to coercively control me. You know what? This bed is a piece of work, y'all. Y'all gotta remember, The Little Mermaid came out in theaters in May of 2023. She was pregnant at that time. Now you want a Disney princess to carry your child and to be a single mother. That's what you want? We could see that she wants to get married. She wants to have a child, a husband. So you wanted to make her a baby mama, but she wanted to be in an actual relationship. And now you're upset because she actually wants you to be together. to raise your child together. But this man was about to leave her as a single mom. And she didn't want that. She doesn't want to be a single mom. He's making it seem as if she's trying to control him to commit. But at the same time, sir, you trapped her on purpose and you knew what it was. Why didn't you just go get a surrogate? You have the money. But for some reason, he wanted to tie himself to her. Following this threat to abort the pregnancy, coupled with the fact that she attempted to abort without informing me, I made the decision to cut ties with her. I could no longer be subjected to her controlling behavior, and I wondered whether her actions may have jeopardized the health and well-being of our unborn child. Despite making it clear I wanted out of the relationship, petitioner insisted that the baby was unharmed and informed me that she began attending multiple medical appointments in an effort to reassure me. So basically, he was going to leave her because the baby might have a developmental problem due to the abortion not going well. That's what I'm getting from this, y'all. But y'all could let me know what y'all think. These appointments appeared less about transparency and more about convincing me to stay. Yeah, because you were going to leave her as a baby mother. What? Ultimately, we learned that our baby was miraculously healthy. You see, I knew it. He was not interested because he thought that the baby was going to have a developmental delay. But once he found out the baby was healthy, then he was on board. Oh, Lord, these men are so trash, y'all. Moved by that outcome and motivated by a desire to preserve a sense of family for my unborn son, I chose to reconcile with petitioner once again in hopes of creating a stable environment for our child. Oh, no guidance at all. Where were their parents? Where was their village? But then again, remember, the village is in shambles. Nobody in the village could help them, y'all. They can't help them. And this is what a lot of us are dealing with. I also had to go through that too. No one could help me. I had to figure it out on my own. But I'm hoping that I'm helping a lot of you all. And I'm fast tracking your way instead of you having to learn the hard way. Because I would never want anyone to go through what I went through. And I would never want anyone to go through what Halle has to go through. The next section, petitioner surveillance and stalking with air tags. Petitioner has repeatedly shown up unannounced to places I frequent, initiating public confrontations and verbal outbursts. On or about June 16, 2023, while petitioner was pregnant, she appeared uninvited at a movie theater in Westwood where I was attending a film with a female friend. No, it wasn't a friend. It was one of your side chicks. It was your Sean. Please, let's stop. I told y'all when he said he was with a companion, we knew it was a female friend. To be clear, this individual had been a long-standing, strictly platonic friend, and there was no romantic or inappropriate relationship between us at any time. I later discovered that petitioner had been using hidden Apple AirTags in my vehicles to monitor my location, which explains how she knew where I was that evening. It looks like they had this kind of relationship where he was just there as a father, but not as a romantic partner. So while she was pregnant, he was doing him. And he basically treated her, like I said before, like a surrogate. The actions that he's taking lets me know that he was not romantically involved with her. It was more of like, let's keep up appearances so I can be a good father to my son, quote unquote, and we can provide this stable environment, but I'm not actually in love with you. And I think he might have said that to her. I can see him saying that. And his actions are proving it anyways. So now she's trying to get his love. Like I said, like Hailey Bieber, it's like literally the same situation. And even if he was with a female friend that was platonic, your girl is pregnant. But then again, like I said, he wasn't seeing her as his girl, which explains so much about how his behavior was. Petitioner entered the theater and immediately began shouting profanities in a loud and disruptive manner for all to hear. I was incredibly embarrassed by the incident. In an effort to de-escalate the situation so as to avoid further confrontation, I exited the theater with my companion. Petitioner then followed closely behind, continuing to shout expletives and directing her verbal assault at both me and my friend, referring to us as B words and threatening to beat her behind. She made repeated accusations of infidelity and attempted to initiate a physical altercation with my friend, all while continuing to use hostile and inflammatory language at the two of us. Not Halle being a hood rat. Wow, this is insane. She's giving me Yaya Mayweather. I need to do a case study on NBA YoungBoy and Yaya Mayweather because this is definitely giving that. Again, like, I can sympathize with her because this man is literally not interested in her. It's so sad when you have to chase behind a man like this. No woman should have to lower her dignity just for the sake of having a man in the house. Sis, you would have been better off just leaving him be. But again, she has this fantasy in her mind. And of course, maybe she just wanted to have him there with her. And she really loved him. You could tell she loved him, but it wasn't reciprocated. As petitioner attempted to physically attack my friend, I was forced to intervene and restrain petitioner to prevent harm to both my friend and to petitioner, who was carrying our unborn child. I need to know who this companion is. We need to figure that out. This incident was particularly troubling as it clearly established that petitioner was becoming more unhinged, quote unquote, more frequently. She's matching your energy, Darryl Jr., because you're unhinged as well. During petitioner's pregnancy from April through December 2023, I found Apple AirTags in my vehicles. How many AirTags is Hali leaving? My goodness. Upon discovering these devices, I realized petitioner was using these devices to stalk and survey me. I did not become aware that petitioner was tracking my movements until I began receiving persistent and unfamiliar Apple AirTag notifications on my electronic devices. Not Apple snitching. It became evident that petitioner had been using AirTags to stalk and monitor my whereabouts. Together with my mother and her fiancé George Charleston, who also serves as my driver, we discovered Apple AirTags concealed in all three of my vehicles, a Rolls Royce, a Maybach, and an Escalade. George and I frequently received alerts indicating that an unknown AirTag was moving with us. Despite multiple attempts to prompt the devices to emit an audible sound so as to identify the location of the device, it remained undetected until later inspections by George and my mother. Oh, his mama was not playing with that. On one occasion during the pregnancy, an AirTag was found by my mother hidden inside a vitamin bottle stored in the trunk of my car. On another occasion, it was discovered by a close female friend of mine tucked within a baby bottle holder. How many female friends do you have? You see, this is why sis was going crazy. He has all these female friends, and he keeps saying, oh, they're platonic. I don't believe that they are. I think for him, he's saying it's platonic, but I don't know. Sis had a reason, though. I'm not saying she should have done this, though. This is OD. The repeated placement of these devices demonstrates a clear and disturbing pattern of stalking and surveillance without my knowledge and consent, all of which further contributed to my sense of fear, violation, and lack of privacy. Sir, you were not in fear. You liked it. You enjoyed this toxic cycle. You want to know how I know why? Because how was she able to put all them AirTags in your car? But then I guess I could understand because he doesn't want her to be stressed during the pregnancy. So I could understand that. But sense of fear, now, I don't know. I think that's a bit far-fetched. He did not seem in fear of his life to me with what I see on social media. So again, you gotta take Darryl's side with a grain of salt, just like Sis's side. Following our child's birth, petitioner's emotional volatility continued to increase. Absolutely. She has hormonal surges now. And on top of that, you're being trashy. And you acting like you don't care about her. You're not putting her in a healthy environment to be secure. You are just bringing out more anxiety and stress to her. So of course she's going to increase in emotional volatility. And on top of that, she doesn't have emotional regulation. We saw that already. She frequently went through my phone without permission while I was asleep, using what she found to start confrontations. These incidents occurred during a period when petitioner and I were on again, off again relationship. Despite the instability between us, I made a concerted effort to maintain the relationship and provide a sense of stability, particularly after learning she was pregnant. I would often fall asleep while scrolling TikTok, wherein petitioner would take these opportunities to enter/hack into my device without my permission. Yeah, that's not right, sis. Whew, she definitely had trust issues. In or about August of 2024, so that's 8 months after they had their son, petitioner became physically violent when I refused to give her my phone. She slapped and punched me repeatedly while I attempted to de-escalate the situation. My mother witnessed the incident and intervened to get her to stop. Wow, this is out of control. Also present was a close family friend, Richard Baby Rich Terry. Oh, that's the guy y'all saw in the earlier video. The little light-skinned guy that was talking. He sounded like he got marbles in his mouth, but that's him. I had to physically restrain petitioner by holding her wrist in an attempt to get her to stop the assault. During the chaos, she ran off with my laptop from the garage. Petitioner repeatedly texted me and threatened to destroy it unless I answered her phone calls. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Now, I will say that this sounds like PPD mixed with other stuff, y'all. There's other things going on here. The incident arose from one of many arguments sparked by petitioner's jealousy and mistrust over my professional content collaborations. As a content creator, streamer, video editor, and music producer, my laptop is essential to my livelihood. This act not only caused significant financial harm, but also disrupted my ability to meet professional obligations. Yeah, he's right with that. You got sponsors and stuff. You can't be messing with your livelihood like that. Yeah, this was definitely a problem. Attached here too, as Exhibit 1, is a true and correct copy of petitioner's messages from June 2023, wherein she states my computer is broken following her belief that I cheated on her. Y'all, don't worry, I'm going to get to the text messages after this. Let's read the court documents first. Unfortunately, this was not an isolated incident. Petitioner consistently expressed discomfort and hostility toward my work, particularly when it involved collaborating or filming with other women. She refused to be part of my content and often used emotional manipulation or conflict to prevent me from filming with female colleagues, despite the professional nature of my work. In contrast, I was expected to accept her participation in intimate on-screen roles, including kissing and close physical contact with her male co-stars in films, without objection. All right, this is a problem here. So she didn't want him working with other women, but he said I was expected to accept her participation with her male co-stars. I could see both sides to this one, because she actually has co-stars and it's in a professional setting, whereas he's a streamer. And judging by his cheating behavior and creeping behavior, I would say that there's a reason why she distrusts you. In all honesty, I just wish sis would have just let him go. He was not worth all of this. I promise you, sis, he wasn't. He never was. Petitioner has repeatedly interfered with my work, often by initiating arguments, causing disruptions while I was recording or editing, or withholding access to necessary equipment. Petitioner would force me to edit her out of projects last minute, and or refuse to allow me or my family to post projects with her likeness or features after having granted consent. Her conduct severely impacted my ability to earn income and maintain stability. It sounds to me like his friends or family wanted to use her for content because she has a visible face. She's a Disney princess. She's pretty much a celebrity, and they were trying to film with her. And I don't care if she gave y'all consent. At the end of the day, if she doesn't want to film, she doesn't want to film. And if she doesn't want you to release the footage, she doesn't want you to release the footage. And you have to respect that. Notably, on August 16, 2024, I documented one such outburst by petitioner as we were leaving a Bruno Mars concert at the Inuit Dome, which we had attended with our son. During this incident, petitioner became upset and demanded we leave. As I was driving back home from the concert, she became verbally aggressive and emotionally unhinged in the presence of our child. She began to hit me as I was driving with our child. Petitioner clearly had no regard for her personal safety or that of our infant sons. I ended up pulling the car over so that I could de-escalate her volatility and make sure we were safe. I recorded her outburst to preserve a record of her behavior, as it reflected an ongoing pattern of volatility that has continued to jeopardize both my emotional well-being and our son's sense of safety and stability. I will play this recording during trial. However, attached here too as Exhibit 2 is a true and correct transcript of that recording. We're going to get to it, y'all. I have also repeatedly called my mother during incidents where petitioner was physically assaulting me. This occurred so frequently I cannot provide the court with specific dates. These events were not isolated. She would often refuse to leave my home or my vehicle, preventing me from leaving and demanding conversations against my will. On multiple occasions, petitioner has refused to let me leave her home by physically blocking exits and threatening to withhold our son if I attempted to separate from her. On or about January 18, 2025, petitioner agreed that I could pick up our son, Halo, for an overnight visit. However, when I arrived at her residence, she insisted that we discuss and formalize a visitation schedule, an issue that had become increasingly contentious due to her repeated pattern of using Halo as a means of control, arbitrarily limiting my access based on her emotions or preferences. After placing Halo in his car seat, sis did say that. She said that she was trying to strap Halo in and kind of just make sure that his carrier was secure. After placing Halo in his car seat, petitioner unexpectedly entered the backseat of the vehicle and refused to exit, effectively preventing me from exercising my custodial time. She just wanted to know the schedule. That's what it was. But I think he wasn't giving her what she wanted, and so she stayed in the backseat, probably waiting for him to agree to something. That's what it sounds like. Despite my repeated requests for her to leave the car, she locked herself inside with Halo and grew increasingly agitated. Concerned for the safety and well-being of our son, I called my mother for guidance on how to proceed. During this incident, petitioner demanded that I talk to her and make a schedule. You see, I already knew it. I could tell. She had that on her mind. There are some people who have a tendency to fixate on things, and they don't feel comfortable unless it is addressed and resolved. And it seems like she's the type to get it done right away. I want it right now. I'm going to do it right now. And he's the type to be dismissive and kind of avoid it. And that would definitely make someone feel like they're not being heard. So I could understand her perspective in that moment of like, hey, I want to schedule time with you, and you just worried about leaving when this is a perfect opportunity for me to know what you're going to do. Because remember, she said that he wouldn't bring Halo back, and there was no set schedule, and that really bothered her. But again, it's all about communication. But then I can definitely understand, because you can't communicate with somebody like this. He is not communicative. Both of them have communication issues. But based on what I've seen with him, once he's angry, you cannot communicate with him either. This was just the worst matchup ever, y'all. And then proceeded to strike me from the back seat by launching herself over the center console into the front seat to punch me. As she did so, her own momentum caused her to hit her head on the steering wheel. At no point did I strike her. In fact, I attempted to shield myself by restraining my arms to prevent further punches. How did she get the bruises on her arms then? I don't find this believable. Sorry. I don't find it believable. I believe that they tussled. Those bruises were very red. And even if she launched herself from the back seat, I don't believe that those two front seats would have caused her to have chair burns or seat burns on her arm. Those arm bruises look like someone was holding her and restraining her. Eventually, I drove home with petitioner still in the back seat in an effort to get her to calm down and exercise my visitation. I arrived home and went inside with Halo as petitioner stayed outside to talk to my family and complain about the status of our relationship. After my mother arrived, petitioner spent time with my little sister, who eventually drove her home. At no point did she leave the premises in a state of distress or hysteria. Attached here too as Exhibit 3 is a true and correct reflection of my injuries sustained by petitioner from her attack. They fought each other, y'all. You can't convince me otherwise. Because the arm bruises, ain't no way. The chipped tooth? Ain't no way. And we're gonna see his injury, so he has a cut on his thumb. Again, like, the family just saw this and didn't say anything, and I'm assuming they just wanted to keep it in the family, but no, some things don't need to be kept in the family. You need to get help. This behavior is consistent with her ongoing efforts to interfere with my custodial rights, including unilaterally denying visitation and traveling out of town, such as her undisclosed trip to St. Lucia, which I only discovered through social media. These acts demonstrate a continued pattern of coercive control, emotional volatility, and disregard for agreed-upon parenting arrangements. All right. Petitioner's repeated threats of self-harm and S-word. Petitioner routinely used emotional coercion and manipulation to exert her control over me, often threatening me by using self-harm or ending her life. The earliest account of this I have documented was in March of 2022. I believe it. They had just started dating, y'all. We were in Atlanta and had an argument ensued between us. I left Petitioner as I did not want to continue to engage in a fight with her. Upon leaving, Petitioner repeatedly called me, as she should. I mean, you just left her. When I didn't answer her calls, she then proceeded to text me. Attached here too as Exhibit 4 is a true and correct copy of these messages. In these messages, Petitioner is threatening to end the relationship if I do not answer her calls. Yeah, she's emotionally unstable and she gets angry. This is the thing. People don't understand that patterns of behaviors do not change. Even if it's in a subtle way, it's still a pattern. The person might not be saying it in such a loud and disrespectful way, but it's just certain behaviors that are off-putting. She had already exhibited that. And you could already tell that she lacks emotional control. In these messages, Petitioner is threatening to end the relationship if I do not answer her calls. When I respond informing her I just want to be left alone, she threatens me, claiming she has a knife. On several occasions, Petitioner has threatened to off herself, especially when I tried to end the relationship or leave her residence. In or about August of 2023, during a particularly volatile argument, Petitioner became enraged and threatened to end her life using my legally owned firearm. Without my consent, she took the weapon and left the house. Alarmed and unable to locate her, I immediately contacted my mother, who arrived shortly thereafter with her fiancé George to assist in a search. Where was her family? Where was her family, y'all? The whole time he's contacting his mother, his mother's fiance, his sister, but nowhere do I see him contacting her people, her folks. Where her folks at? And I understand that, you know, their relationship was already volatile, so I get it. But it's like no one thought to message her sister or her friends or somebody on her side. George ultimately located Petitioner outside in possession of the firearm. He safely retrieved the weapon from her. Following this, Petitioner proceeded to run upstairs and lock herself in the master bedroom closet, where she remained lying on the floor in an emotionally unstable state. Yeah, absolutely. She has mental health issues. Undiagnosed mental health issues will do that to you. You have episodes and people trigger you, and then people think that it's a normal part of your behavior. This is just how she is. That's just how I am. No, it's not. This incident was one of several in which Petitioner's actions pose a serious threat to her own safety and the safety of our son by creating an environment of emotional distress and danger within the home. She needed help. On March 21st, 2024, Petitioner sent messages threatening to off herself and made statements that suggested she might harm our son. That was just a few months after she gave birth, y'all. She then attempted to drive while in emotional distress with our child in the car. I was so concerned for Halo's safety that I contacted Petitioner's godmother, asking her to intervene. Finally, okay, we got somebody outside of his family. On at least 2 other occasions that I can recall, one in September 2024 and another in November 2024, Petitioner sent similarly threatening messages. So her godmother and her are very close. I believe that she is estranged from her parents and she's not as close to them, and Chloe isn't as well, as far as I believe. You guys can let me know if I'm wrong. This can explain why she lacked a lot of guidance. She didn't have anyone there. They officially announced their breakup in October of 2024. And remember, I done told y'all, It looked like they were starting to really deteriorate around summer of 2024. That's when they stopped really posting everything together. But when he said that they haven't been together in a long time, what he means is that he just wanted to be there for his son, but he wasn't romantically involved with her like that. So before she got pregnant, it was all good. That's when you saw all the vlogs pop out. Everything was great. And then when she got pregnant, he no longer had use for her. She was unattractive to him. He no longer needed her anymore. He got what he wanted. Petitioner sent similarly threatening messages. Attached here too, as Exhibit 5, are true and correct copies of text messages I received from petitioner. Given these threats of self-harm, I believe petitioner is a threat to our son's safety, such that she should not be allowed to take Halo out of the country to Italy for a period of 2 months. I am filing a concurrent ex parte application seeking to preclude petitioner's international travel. In the event this court does not grant the ex parte relief, I will have no choice but to report petitioner's threats to harm herself, thereby placing our son's safety at risk with the Los Angeles County Department of Children and Family Services, something I was hoping to avoid. Petitioner's coercive control of my access to Halo. Petitioner repeatedly refused to allow me to see Halo when I was not in a romantic relationship with her. I can see that happening. That happens a lot with the baby mother, baby father dynamic. When a baby mom, especially if she's still attached to the father and he's not doing what she wants him to do, or he has a new woman, then there is that friction. That happens a lot, y'all. That happens quite often. So I believe that part. If I created content with other women or posted something online, she would block me and withhold access. She often used our son as leverage to control me emotionally or punish me. Petitioner frequently blocked me on all platforms after breakups and would only communicate through my mother. This became a constant pattern, with her toggling between affectionate behavior and extreme hostility, depending on whether I was physically or emotionally available to her. Petitioner has routinely threatened to withhold custody and block visitation when I assert boundaries or request changes to our parenting plan. Yeah, because you want to have your son whenever you want to have your son. And it looks like you want your son at all types of times and hours. So, yeah, I think that you guys should have been in mediation. She has made it difficult to arrange pickup and drop off and has resorted to screaming and threats during these exchanges, often in front of our son. That poor baby. That poor baby. And remember, he said that when he was little, remember when Darryl Sr. was talking on the podcast and he said, I remember when you and mom used to argue. And then also with Hallie's father and mother having that domestic situation that they had. I can imagine that they also had that kind of environment. And now, again, generational patterns are being repeated. During one incident, petitioner physically prevented me from retrieving our son by standing in front of the door while yelling profanities at me. My mother was often involved in facilitating safe custody exchanges due to petitioner's unpredictability and refusal to communicate directly. She has witnessed petitioner attempting to take Halo from my arms and deny my parental rights, including an incident at petitioner's West Hollywood apartment where her sister, godmother, and my father were present. Not Darryl Sr. being there. Chloe and the godmother? Wow, that's a lot of people. As I was holding Halo in my arms in an attempt to visit our son, petitioner began to hit me in an effort to stop me from taking Halo for the limited amount of time she had already agreed for me to have him in my care and custody. I don't know what is going on, but it sounds like she would have these episodes and these outbursts, and then everybody would just continue on as if everything was normal, and it's not, y'all. It really isn't. Those should have been signs and warnings to seek help, and that's on his side too, because he also has outbursts and can't control his emotions. Petitioner's escalating behavior poses an immediate threat to my safety and emotional well-being, and more importantly, to the stability and safety of our son. As a result of such conduct behavior, I respectfully request the following protective orders: personal conduct and stay away orders, sole legal and physical custody of Halo to me or in an alternative joint legal and physical, with a 2255 custody visitation schedule, prohibition on removing our son from California or the United States without court, use of our family wizard for communication and coordination. Order that all custodial exchanges be facilitated by third parties, including my mother or a nanny, to avoid further direct contact with petitioner. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct, dated June 3rd, 2025. So their court date was actually June 4th. So he submitted all of this a day before their court date. So let's get to the text messages, because this is where we are going to see what happened between them in the conversation. All right, let's get into it. So June 17 of 2023, this was about 3 to 4 months pregnant, and Little Mermaid again was released in May. Just keep that in mind. So Halle says, that's not right. I have to go. I've been so nice. I've been calm. I've not broken your property or anything. I have to go. I'm pregnant and you're trying to cause me more stress for no reason. I said this morning respectfully, I'm not arguing with you anymore. You want to be petty, you can be petty by yourself. Stop blocking me. Okay, I gave you a chance. You've ruined my whole day. I have to work. Your computer is broken now. Goodbye. Oh. Okay, let's look at the time. So she wrote at 12:57. And then when he didn't respond, by 4:42, she broke his computer. So she said, hey, so I'm going to stop calling now. You've cheated on me. I literally caught you with another girl last night. And today you've stolen my car. All while I'm pregnant and I can't do this anymore. Why would he steal her car? See, this is what I'm talking about. Remember, in the court documents, he's acting like he's all innocent and like she's the crazy one. She's the wild one. Remember Darryl Sr., how he was talking in the first part of this case study. And now, here's this little part. And today you've stolen my car. Why would he need her car when he has 3? All while I'm pregnant, I can't do this anymore. So he was stressing her out, y'all. Stressing her out. I tried to call you to tell you I'm gonna go to the doctor. I'm leaving work now. I'm tired and I tried. Please don't try and say I didn't tell you when I'm blowing up your phone. So maybe this was around the time that she was gonna go and make her decision about whether to keep this baby or not. He knows what he's doing, y'all. He was literally stressing her out. I can't do this. If this is how it's gonna be, I wanna be free. Wish you the best in everything that you do in the future. Then he wrote, how come you can take my things and I can't take yours? See, this does not sound like somebody who is emotionally stable. And I said this, where she took his laptop. And again, I am not trying to defend sis. She was wrong. He should have called the cops, to be quite honest with you, because she stole his property. But instead of doing that, he want to play games. You stole my laptop, I'm going to steal your car. And y'all telling me that he wasn't facilitating this? That this didn't become a normal routine for them? Because if you were really concerned about your laptop and you're in a healthy mental space, if she didn't give it back to you, I'm going to call the police and get my laptop back if we're really that serious. But again, we're dealing with 2 emotionally immature people. Just give me my laptop back and I'll happily give you your car keys. I'll bring you your car keys when you get home. Just let me know when you're home. Then she messaged, I'm home. Take me to dinner. We need to have a civil conversation. Ooh, damn, the demands. Okay. I'm not doing back and forth with you anymore. Back and forth. Remember her song? So, that song was definitely about their relationship. And he wrote, if you gonna actually listen to me, I will. Okay. I'm not listening to you demean or insult me anymore. So don't even try. I am hurt by you enough. See? This man was talking reckless to her. And then he acting like she was the one calling him stupid N-word. We know a toxic king when we see one. You guys are just a better version A diet version of Krishan and Blueface and Bobby and Whitney. That is it. That is all. If you're not going to be gentle with me when I'm going through this hard time, then we don't need to talk. All right, now, Exhibit 2. This is the transcript of August 16, 2024. This is at 1:34 a.m. All right, let's go through this transcript. So remember, y'all, respondent is DDG, petitioner is Halle. Respondent, so DDG, keep hitting me. And then Halle said, you stupid B word. DDG said, keep hitting me. And then Halle said, you're a stupid B word. Then DDG said, keep hitting me. And then Halle said, cheating ass. Then DDG said, keep hitting me. Then Halle said, dirty dick. All right. Then DDG said, yep, keep hitting me. And then Halle said, ass B word. I guess it was dirty dick ass B word. Then DDG responded and said, yep, keep hitting me. Then DDG said, yep, keep hitting me. And then he followed up with, yeah, you got effed. Then Halle said, get out of my car. Then DDG said, you got effed before, keep hitting me. And then Halle said, I never got effed. Then DDG said, yes, you did, keep hitting me. Then Halle said, nope, not even by you. Then DDG said, yep, keep hitting me. Then Halle said, not even by you. Then DDG said, keep hitting me, keep hitting me. Then Halle said, stupid ass. Then DDG said, yeah, I bet you calm down, And then Halle said, get the F out of my car. Then DDG said, bet you calm down now. Halle said, get out of my car then. DDG said, I bet you calm down now. Halle said, get out of my car trying to disrespect me in my car. DDG said, I bet you calm down now. Then Halle responded, so get out, so get out. Then DDG said, bet you calm down now. Then Halle said, so get out. And then DDG said, bet you calm down now. And then Halle said, what do you think the effing cone is F? Based on the transcript, she is clearly hitting him because he keeps saying, keep hitting me. And then she's saying things to him. But the context of the situation is that she is saying that he's cheating on her. And he's trying to flip it back to her and saying that she got F'd before. Practically saying that, okay, like, you also are getting F too, so two can play that game kind of type thing. Now, what I'm trying to understand is the bet you calm down now. What was he doing? Because he did something. So he must have been doing something where he's trying to make her calm down. But for me, it's like, bet you calm down now, like he's restraining her. Like, I bet you gonna calm down now. That's what it's sounding to me. I don't know if I'm just misreading that, but I'm guessing that he's trying to restrain her. That's what I'm getting from that. Because I know when somebody's like, oh, I bet you gonna do this now, I bet you gonna do that now, when they're arguing, that usually means that they're either like tying you up or they're holding you. All right, let's continue. Exhibit 3 is where he shows his scar. And he got scratched up real bad, y'all. That's a pretty deep cut. That's a very big, deep cut. Now, this one was March 10th of 2022. So Halle said no to this tweet. And then DDG, what's wrong with it? Then Halle said, Donald, of all people, let's not LMAO. Who is Donald? He talking about Trump. Which Donald? Okay. Then DDG said it's not that deep. Then she said, it is though. Donald is a racist man who doesn't care about us. Why would you leave? Oh, she is talking about Trump. Lord, she talking about DT. Okay. What did he tweet about Donald Trump? Then he said, I'm done with the threats. What did she say that was threatening? She said Donald is a racist man who doesn't care about us. She was just giving his opinion. Oh, why would you leave? Okay, that's why. Okay, why would you leave? I'm done with the threats. All right. Then she said, it is though. Donald is a racist man who doesn't care. Why would you leave? I'm done with the threats. Stop being this way. And then she sent an audio. 2 audios, actually. Then answer the effing phone. Answer the effing phone in all caps. She was upset, y'all. It looks like someone who's drunk texting, but I don't believe she's drunk. I believe she's just upset. And then she's just typing erratically. So see here, she has 2 misspellings, and that was at 6:49. And then after that, she was typing regularly. So I think she was just expressing her anger here. I'm going to try one more time. If you don't answer, it's over forever. That's a threat. But again, it's a toxic dynamic. Y'all don't know how many times I got to keep saying that. This is normal in a toxic relationship. This is normal behavior. And anyone who goes online and be like, oh yeah, I remember when I did this to my ex, or they're normalizing it like, that ain't nothing, I've done worse. Toxic. Very toxic. I'm not playing, Darryl. That's it. Then he wrote, I just want to be left alone, please. Then she wrote, I'm calling for help. I have a knife. This is where the self-harm comes in, because he doesn't want to be with her. He's not responding. And then she's using manipulation. Continuing, I'm calling for help. But why don't care, do you? I'm assuming that she's saying, but you don't care, do you? Then he wrote, have a knife for what? Then she continued, I called because I needed help. But you've shown time and time again that you just don't care, and that's okay. That's, y'all, that is textbook manipulation here. We got to keep it real. Textbook manipulation. So she's using her self-harm as a way to get him to come and attend to her. And this is such an unhealthy way of trying to, I guess, coerce someone and guilt someone into being with you. Whatever I decide to do is none of your concern. Just leave me in peace. Then he wrote, I came there to check on you. For you to act like you're going to hurt yourself to make me feel some type of way is manipulative and selfish. I never thought you would do nothing like that. And for once, I have to agree with him. That is very true. I never thought you would leave either. Guess I didn't know you at all. And nobody's acting like anything. Whatever I decide to do, it's my decision. Don't feel sad either. It's cool. You literally told me to leave. This push and pull shit you keep doing is childish. You keep threatening to leave me alone and saying you can F with somebody else. I'm not sticking around for that. Yeah. Like I said, undiagnosed mental health issues will have you looking crazy in these streets, y'all. You're gonna look crazy. And sis is going out sad. This was when they just started dating. Remember, they started dating in November of 2021, made it public January of 2022, and by March, this is what's happening. All right, Exhibit 5. This was August 23rd of 2022. Hali said, bet. Then I'm gonna call you one more time. And then he wrote, phone is on airplane mode. I'm not letting you ruin my day over this BS. The trust issues are becoming overwhelming. Maybe that's for the best. I put in too much time and effort into making you happy to have to deal with this BS every other day. And in your eyes, you're never wrong. It's frustrating and I'm over it. I'm no longer entertaining this argument. I need to work on becoming more successful like Jay-Z, like you said. Remember, her and her sister are signed to Parkwood, so they are close to Jay-Z and Beyonce. Oh boy, but to be honest with you, I wouldn't look up to that couple. And then he said, then maybe you'll take my vision of becoming a big label owner serious instead of shitting on my dreams every second you get. So she didn't believe in his dreams. And you know what? Now it's making sense why he would get so sensitive when the internet would call him names and call him like DVD. Y'all seen recently call him doodle garbage and say all these things about him. And he's always trying to prove himself, as we can see in videos. Now it makes sense because, again, it's an insecurity of his already. And number two, he feels as if she's not supporting him. And that can definitely weigh on someone's self-esteem. I must say, I have to admit that. So I can see why he would have all these outbursts all the time and why he said that he felt like kind of like it was her fault and he would resent her for it. It was all a cycle, y'all. Then she wrote, you don't want to be with me. That's okay. I will never beg anyone. So it looks like she's saying those things to hurt him. That's what it sounds like. And he's really hurt. That's what it sounds like too. Chill. I will be successful. You already are, sis. I don't need to be with someone who's going to demean me. You like that I'm insecure. It makes you feel good about yourself. You see, this is where it comes from. So she's bad-mouthing him and making him feel less than because of how he's making her feel. Again, reactive. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm not doing this anymore. Keep your phone on airplane mode, but when I die, don't say ish. You see? That's that manipulation and the guilt tripping. But then a few of y'all in my comments, and I left them comments up for a reason, and that was way before he dropped this. Because you wanted me to basically see that nail salon incident as something normal. And I said that she cannot handle her emotions either. Something is off. That's why I say you got to pay attention to the subtle signs, y'all. Please pay attention to the small signs and the big signs. Don't just dismiss the small signs as, oh, I would do the same thing. Oh, don't. It's not normal. It's not. I think what the issue is that we see small situations and you just think that, oh, people are overreacting. It was just, she was just upset. It's normal to be that way. But when someone has a pattern, especially when it comes to regulating their emotions, and they tell you that they're hot-headed, that they can't control themselves, and that they're liable to pop off, that's dangerous. Let's continue. Don't come to my funeral or anything. F you. Be happy that these are the last texts you get from me, you see? Again, and when I said she showed manipulative behavior, some of y'all came for me. And look at this. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see this stuff. You gotta be aware, man. Next, crazy how the one person I thought I could trust and be there for me constantly proves me wrong. You are wrong. You know that emotionally I struggle and have a hard time, yet when I'm obviously going through something, you ignore me until I go crazy. So sis knows that she has an emotional problem. Again, why are you not seeking help? Both of y'all. He has his struggles, you have yours. But why are you not seeking help? The same way I told him to seek help, sis, you gotta seek help too. And this was before you were pregnant. So I can't even excuse this. This is not postpartum. This is something completely different. You throw in my face my insecurities and laugh about it. See? He's antagonizing her. You put your phone on airplane mode and say you're not dealing with it. Avoidant. But when something bad happens, don't say anything. She's threatening him. Because this was my attempt to beg you to listen to me, to just answer the phone, to just hear me, to try and understand where I'm coming from, but you don't. This young lady, my goodness. And you'll regret it. You'll regret ever meeting me. Go back to the B words you're used to. Go back to effing thoughts. That's what you want. You've never wanted anyone like me. Low self-esteem, y'all. And she's already self-deprecating because she's fixated on having him want her. That's what she wants. You and your family hate me. Just admit it. But that's okay. Everyone does. But Poseidon. I think Poseidon is her cat. Everyone does. But you're so close to Chloe. Why do you say everyone does? Does she mean her family or everyone around her? See, this is why having a village is very important. Sis seems so close to her sister, but yet look at what she's saying. Everyone hates me. Why would everyone hate you? Why do you feel that way? That's what I want to know. And I want to give her a hug because I feel so sad for her, y'all. She went through all this with this man, and here we thinking some people thinking they couple goals because they were on social media posting pictures. And look at this. But Poseidon, I will go and fly and be just fine in heaven without any of this, without any of you rude ass people making me feel bad about myself. And you can show these texts to whoever you want. Laugh about it now, goodbye. And this was all around 12:30, so around lunchtime. She sent all this back to back, and he said, I was in the shower. If you want to talk, you can talk to me in person instead of eating food without me, and I never eat without making sure you eat first. Okay, I'm leaving. The doors are locked. You can come get Poseidon and your laptop and stuff tomorrow. And she said, I'm gonna go home. I just want to resolve it so I can get some sleep, please. You don't ever have to talk to me again, but I can't breathe right now. I'm just so stupid. This whole thing is so stupid. I want to die. I never want to be here again. I hate this all. I hate my life. This was February 9th, 2023. Remember, the whole Ruby situation happened February, like right around Valentine's Day. So this must have been the argument. And then remember his reaction, instead of comforting her, getting her some mental health help. And not saying that he's responsible for that, but I mean, a supportive boyfriend would try at least. Nope, he went and texted Ruby talking about what you on. And all right, let me go heal first. And then trying to go to Carisha's party. Toxic. Please stop taking it to this extreme. I tried begging my only friend to help me. Who is your only friend? I'm still communicating with you. You won't help me. So DDG is her only friend? Is that what she's saying? I'm so tired. I'm in pain. I don't want to do this anymore every day. You lie on me to your mama. So she's pregnant around this time. That's why I said we need to take time apart. Okay, his mama don't like her. I guess his mom is turned off by this behavior. And rightfully so, because, you know, you don't want your son to go through that. But then again, based on his story too, it's a lot of dismissing going on here. And she's giving me boy mom vibes a bit. And then he said, that's why we need to take time apart. And then she said, you make it seem like I'm this horrible person, even though I've cleared up everything. Okay, so yeah, his mom's not feeling it. Just leave me to die. My goodness. You cause me pain. You are selfish. I've been crying nonstop because of you. I can't be here anymore. Then he said, you're sick. Then she said, you push everyone away who really tried to love you. I've tried really hard to fight for this relationship. I can't do this with you anymore when you constantly are purposely throwing me into the fire. Her emotions are all over the place, y'all. All over the place. But then now she's pregnant. So this is a bit different than the previous ones. But still, she had something before. And then she got pregnant. And it just increased it exponentially. Then he wrote, okay, block me. She said, I've just asked for understanding. He said, I'm done texting. Do what you gotta do. Okay, so he's upset now. Then she said, if I die, you wouldn't even care. Like, I'm done texting. Do what you gotta do. Exactly. But sis, you've been threatening him for years. He's tired. This is a lot. I ain't gonna lie. It's a lot. It's a lot. There's different degrees to toxic. And I think that she hits the extreme level. And he's not used to that type of level. He's used to the Ruby type of let's fight and let's scrap. I'm gonna bang on your door and kick your door down. But he's not used to this type of toxic. But then again, she's not used to his type of toxic either. I will say that it is very hard to be someone's emotional anchor. It's very draining. So I can understand that perspective. I would, you just tripping and keep threatening to unalive my unborn son. You're weird. I wouldn't feel safe having a child with you at this point. Okay. Stop being fake happy to be a mom. Wow. Okay, so he's basically saying that her appearing to be happy to the outside world is not really who she really is. All right, text thread, March 21st, 2024. So this is after the birth of their son. Hali texted, weird. I've had enough. I don't want to talk to you ever again. Please don't contact me. If you need to contact me, please reach out to my sister or Shermay. I'm guessing that's the godmother. And then, she's upset, y'all. This is definitely during the PPD time. I hate you. This is all caps. Y'all can see it. I hate you. You are the most horrible person I've ever met. I wish I didn't have to fight with you, but you continue to let me down every time. And then speak about exchanging my son in a money deal for views. So what does she mean? Is it a sponsorship? What happened here? So she's making it seem like he's using his son for clout. This is very alarming, y'all. Okay, I think I know what she means. So basically, he's putting their son on the internet, and then he's not paying attention to her. So she's upset because he's showing all this love to the son and putting their son on YouTube. And basically, he got what he wanted, like I said. So she is no longer of purpose. So he's not even entertaining her. And then on top of that, she's going through PPD. And openly flirt and help every other woman in the world but me. You see? They be doing that, though. They be doing that, though, y'all. For real, for real. A lot of men, especially men who maybe allegedly have MPD, they will do that. He's basically treating her like she's nothing to him anymore. And her perception is that she's had his baby. She's giving him what he's wanted. And she's thinking that they're going to work through their issues. She's with the wrong type of man. He's never wanted to be committed to you. He's committed to his child, but not you. And so now she's saying you help every other woman in the world but me. Yeah, because he's probably dropping everything for everybody else, but not taking care of her because she's a nuisance to him. He doesn't want to deal with her anymore. He just wants to have a co-parenting relationship because that's what he wanted in the beginning. You hate me and want me to die. I want to die because of you. So, y'all, she's been threatening to off herself for a long time. I will die because of you. It's your fault. Cry about it later. Then he wrote, why do you want me to sit on the phone and listen to you yell at me all day? You do this to me every day. I beg you for help. You know I don't have anyone. So she's isolated. Who's not helping her? Where is her village? So, yes, she's by herself. And that explains why she was so close to his family. I remember Thanksgiving, she spent it with his family. But where's her? So there's definitely something going on between her and her family. You just had a baby. And you're by yourself. You're isolated. The father of your child no longer wants to be with you. And he is doing everything but being with you. Then you're going to feel like this. You know, I've been running to the doctor every day for help. Okay, so she is getting help. All right, what's going on here? I'm wondering if they medicated her, like what the treatment plan was. Wow. And you still play in my face. I won't make it to my birthday because of you. You have ruined me. Yeah, I can imagine. You had his baby and he left you. And you got pregnant at the height of your career when you were doing big and greater things. Y'all, she was the Little Mermaid. And I'm not saying that she can't achieve anything now because she definitely can. But it's just harder. Especially when now, look at all of this. Y'all gotta think about it this way. Her brand right now is tainted because of him. Meeting the wrong person can change your life. You have ruined me and all my happiness. You hang up with Jen. I'm begging for help. You're the only help I used to have. And you're so focused on being famous and having money. See? Yeah. When you don't even see what's in front of you, how could you go to Mexico and be with someone else? How could you openly talk ish about me to all your family and all the women you want to sleep with? Narky vibes. Yeah, making you look like the bad guy. Making you look crazy. And not saying that sis didn't have her issues, but again, he was entertaining it to a certain extent. She's alleging that he cheated when he went to Mexico. And mind you, she just had his baby. Why isn't he in Mexico with her? That's the question I would like to ask. But he did take her on trips because I have footage of that. But now I'm thinking to myself, was he just doing that for views? And then once the camera turned off, then he was a completely different person. That's possible too. And so now that's why she's feeling like she's worthless because once the cameras are not there, then he doesn't care for her. You want to ruin me and you succeeded. I hope you are happy. I didn't make it. I tried. I can't do this anymore. You can make up whatever story you want to tell people about how I am or how I used to be. My goodness. You can make up whatever you want when I'm gone. Tell everyone I'm crazy. I can't wait. I can't wait for you to realize how badly you effed up, how you ruined me. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. And any chance I had of having a good life and putting myself back together, and you continue to ignore us, me and your son are alone. You don't care about us anymore. You never did. Then he wrote, you want to off yourself because I tweeted Sexy Red's a good rapper? This literally makes no sense. And then she sent an audio, I guess explaining herself. You won't. Everyone is against me. I can't. I'm embarrassed and humiliated and tired. No one understands how I feel. I tried. This is a mess. And now you guys understand why I said you need community in a village. This is why. If she had that, she wouldn't need to be dealing with all that. Her family would have been like, you know what? Things happen between y'all. That's okay, but we got it from here. But instead, she's sitting here trying to make this man approve of her and accept her. And he never will because he never loved her. Now, these set of texts are from February 9th of 2023. So again, before the Ruby Rose situation, you won't. Everyone is against me. I can't. I'm embarrassed and humiliated and tired. No one understands how I feel. I tried. Then he wrote, hurting yourself won't fix anything. The internet ish is irrelevant. It's fixed already. So I'm guessing this was after the whole Ruby Rose situation. And she said, just leave me alone. He said, stop thinking about that. And she said, don't ever try to contact me again. Then March 21st, 2024. This was not in sequence. It keeps jumping. But let's continue. This is proof. You leaving me hanging as a mother. You won't step up when I need you to. I'm begging you. I just found out you slept with Lala in Mexico. I'm going to off myself tonight. My son will not be around for it. I hate you forever. You can have him and let her be his mom. Then he wrote, I can't believe you're acting like this. And she said, you put your penis inside of her in Mexico. Knowing I was here taking care of our son. Knowing I was crying before you left. You selfish, disgusting person. You're evil. I'm giving you your son. Then he said, you're making stuff up. Then she said, please, I don't want him around for this. Please take him from me. Then she said, please, I don't want him around for this. Please take him from me. I don't want him to see me like this. I'm begging you for Halo, please. I can't do this anymore. I'm done. Knowing I poured my heart out to you before I left. You still went and effed her. And you can't even own up to it. I hate you. You are evil. You want me to die. Please take Halo. Then he said, I'm genuinely scared for you, man. I feel like you're gonna off me in my sleep one day. So I'm assuming she was outside of his house. Me and Halo are in the cold and you won't let us in your house. Are you serious? And then he said, I'm not letting you in my house around my guns. And then she said, I'm here in my pajamas in the cold and you won't let us in your house. So she's also impulsive. It looks like it was an unplanned visitation and she's trying to drop their son off. And then she was in distress in the beginning, but she just wanted to go to the house. And notice how her texts were very, very extremely all caps. She was angry. You could hear the pain and anger in her voice. But then when she calmed down, they went right back to normal. Wow, okay, I asked for help. I asked you to take Halo from me right now, and you won't. Instead, you leave us in the cold. You will never hear from me again. You see manipulation. That's manipulation right there. Because notice how she was in distress here. But then at the bottom, she's already threatening him. Yeah. All right. See, she even fooled me too. Y'all, this is insanity. It's not safe for you to be around guns. Please just go home and we'll figure it out later. And then she said, there is no later. Coercion. There was only now and you missed it. See? Yeah. That's a pattern, y'all. This is very manipulative. I called and texted 1,000 times. I'm sure you did, sis. We know it. You can't tell me I didn't ask for your help in the height of my struggle. I did, and you denied me over and over to spend time at the club. Left me outside in the cold of outside or your house. I think she meant you left me outside the cold outside of your house. We can never come back from this. You missed your chance to take Halo. We are leaving. As long as you don't hurt yourself, I'm cool with that. We'll figure it out later. Yeah, he's done. He's done. He's checked out. He's checked out. And she said, I've already started hurting myself. Congrats. You killed me. Evil, evil man. You never cared about me. You called my family. They're not gonna help me. I'm not answering anyone. I called you because I needed to speak to you, and now you've made it worse. You never cared about me or loved me. It was all a lie. We get to August of 2024. You have treated me like ish on the ground. I didn't deserve this. I tried my hardest. I want to live. I want to be happy. I don't want to pass away. But I don't know what else to do. I've tried. I'm reaching out to you for help. To please come get your son because I'm not okay. I'm not okay, and I don't want him to be around me like this. Then she wrote, I don't know what else to do. You've hurt me too bad. You've made everything so much worse. I don't want Halo to be around me like this. And then he wrote, I'm coming to get him. Then she wrote, but then you come and you try to take him from me and say disrespectful shit to me, like pack his bag. Yeah, he's treating her like the help. Like I'm a dog. Yep. I already know that behavior. He don't want to deal with her. You've hurt me too bad. You've hurt me to my core. Please just leave me alone. I'm not okay, and it's because of you. I'm not okay, and it's because of what you did. I'm not okay. Please just leave me alone. Then he wrote, so can I get Halo or no, Hali? Yeah, you see, he's done. He's done. But this response is really telling. Really telling. Because see how he was before and now after he got his son. His demeanor changed. He's very cold. Then she wrote, I'm tired of asking. So she's just trying to get his attention, y'all. That's literally what it is. I've reached out for help multiple times. There's proof everywhere that I tried to reach out for help before I did this. And he said, I'm on the way already to get Halo. I tried so hard. I did everything I could. I love you the best that I could. I thought me having your child would prove to you my commitment and my loyalty to you. So was he asking her to have his baby? And she was like, okay, I'm going to do it because I'm loyal to you? Because that's what it sounds like. But you went behind my back and now my son will have a broken home. She doesn't want that. I knew it from before. That's why she's going about like this. She's carrying on, and that's why she was about to go to the clinic to delete because of that. Because she doesn't want a broken home, and now look at what he gave her, a broken home. I tried so hard. I did everything I could up until this point. Why do I have to do something drastic for anyone to take me seriously? You will miss me when I'm gone. I'm tired. I've been alone in this apartment for 6 days every day in my bed. She's depressed. I have gone crazy in this room. I don't want to be here anymore, please. Just leave me alone. You've done enough. Now, one thing I'll say here, she said, why do I have to do something drastic for anyone to take me seriously? Because she's, kind of quiet, reserved, or she presents herself to be that way. And it isn't until she's the bad girl then you get attention. And a lot of people feel that way. They feel overlooked. And the only time people give them attention, is when you cry, scream, and then you get your way. Wow. So she's using that to get his attention. But guess what? He already gone. So there you have it. DDG's declaration and statement of events. It was a lot to take in, but now we have both sides of the story. And right now I'm going to include Lala's side of the story because Halle accused him of cheating on her while he was in Mexico. And both Lala and DDG have denied the claims. So just a bit of a background on Lala. Lala is the same girl that introduced Ruby Rose to DDG. Her and Ruby Rose were very good friends. Then they had a falling out because she started dating Ruby Rose's ex, Lil TJ. Lala just be taking everybody's man, chill.
A while back, the way me and him met, he DM'd me and was trying to talk to me. It wasn't bad. I'm not about to sit here and it was nothing bad. But we hung out. Everything was innocent. I had just moved to LA. There was one time that we kissed. And then after that, I told him, like, look, I think you got the wrong impression, whatever, and let's just leave it at that. And we were friends after that. A while back, the way me and him met. But anyways, at the time of this trip that we were all on as a friend group, Halle did reach out to me. And we had a private conversation. Again, I'm not going to disclose details because that's between me and her. Reached out to me. We had a long conversation about it. Things were cleared up. And rightfully so. Like, I didn't even feel any type of way when I found out when she hit me because I understood. I 100% understood. Like I said, I've been in that position. And we had a conversation. Things were cleared up. Ever since then, we've been on good terms.
All right, y'all. So y'all heard DDG's side of the story. And now, in response, Halle submitted her own declaration. Y'all, this case study just keeps going on and on and on. And I'm not surprised by this back and forth. So let's read Sis's declaration of what he wrote. I, Halle Bailey, declare I am the petitioner in DVRO case number, and then they put the case number, filed by Darryl Dwayne Granberry Jr. I have personal knowledge of the facts I state below, and if I were to be called as a witness, I could competently testify to what I have written in this declaration. Exhibits referenced below are true and correct copies of the identified document and are incorporated by reference at the place indicated by the exhibit letter. I submit this declaration in opposition to the request for domestic violence restraining order filed by Darryl Dwayne Granberry Jr. And then they put Darryl. I am requesting the court deny Darryl's request. Instead, I request that the court grant me permission to take our son out of the country to perform my employment duties. I also request orders to stop Darryl personally, and that he instruct his family and friends to stop posting about our son, this litigation, and me on all platforms discussed below. So you know who she talking about. Remember, I showed y'all the recordings of all the friends, all the family, because she put a gag order on her BD. But now she's putting a gag order on everybody. I want to point out that Darryl has requested an order blocking me from traveling with our son for my scheduled work next month, and he waited until June 4th, 2025 to ask for custody orders, although he and his attorneys have ignored all of my attorney's efforts for him to have monitored visits with our son since the issuance of the temporary restraining order on May 13, 2025. Okay, so then it seems like DDG was the issue here. As y'all know, he loves dropping things last minute. You know, he wants all the fan frenzy and the internet. And he knows how to strategize. I told y'all, he's really good with marketing. He knew that dropping it on that day was going to have the internet go wild. So I'll say that he's very calculating and smart for that one. Darryl has exaggerated, lied, and misconstrued for the court not only the history of our relationship, but our parenting and my mental health. There is no doubt that I was emotionally devastated in 2002 and 2003 by his behavior and ongoing abuse. Yeah, them text messages didn't lie, y'all. They didn't lie. I have been very vocal about my anxiety, depression, and previous thoughts of S-word without waiving the psychotherapist patient privilege and physician patient privilege, so HIPAA laws. I have reached out to my doctor and received treatment to address these issues. I am so happy for you, sis. I'm so happy that you got treatment, sis, because yes, you needed that. You really needed that. I have been and remain 100% available and capable as a parent to our son, Halo. Had Darryl really been concerned about my parenting, he would have taken action prior to this time. I agree. He has never sought custody orders or any orders protecting Halo until today, the day that my DVRO was set. Yes, and I think that's because he was comfortable with you doing a brunt of the work, and he could do what he wants and go as he pleases. He just wants to be able to take his son when he wants and then put him right back to you to be the responsible one. That's what it is. And if it's not you, it's his mother. Because remember, he said that he wants his son to be his homie. So I don't think he actually likes the responsibility of having a child. He just likes his child to be around. There's a big difference, y'all. All right, let's keep reading. Most of Darryl's alleged incidents took place in 2022 and 2023. It is now June 4th, 2025, but Darryl makes no specific allegations about any incidents since his own claims about an incident that took place back in January 2025, which I addressed in my DVRO. Now, sis, I'm gonna have to stop you here. Even if those incidents took place in 2022 and 2023, they still happened. So this is what I was talking about, the lack of accountability a little bit. She's kind of like saying, well, that's the past, this is now. He's not talking about himself, but sis, you can't dispute that this happened. So I'll just leave it at that. But I am glad that she's gotten help, so that shows that she's in a better space mentally, and that means that she's able to actually move on from this, which I'm happy about. Yet Darryl did not seek any orders for protection or custody until now, nearly 5 months later. But he could say the same for you, sis, because that incident happened in January and you just pulled out the TRO Mother's Day, so that's May. So like I told y'all, they are the same person, different fonts. She's still showing a little bit of that behavior, just a little bit. But again, she's getting treated. So, it takes time to kind of be self-aware. I will say that. So we're going to give her a little grace here. But sis, he could say the same thing about you. In his declaration, Darryl has also failed to explain why he waited until now to ask for orders, DV, or custody if he genuinely had any concerns about me as a person or me as a parent. This is cold retribution to embarrass, humiliate, and cause me additional emotional distress. Yeah, two things can be true at once. Darryl has repeatedly threatened to file something to cause me additional harm. His papers are nothing more than ongoing abuse. I will address the truth about his allegations further if the court sets his request for hearing. Yes, sis, we already know there's two sides to the story. Because we already know, like, those text messages, I'm sure that there's more behind it. So we gonna hear about it, y'all, because this is all public record. I am contractually obligated to be in Italy to film a movie. I have been and remain Halo's caretaker. Halo cannot be left in Darryl's care and or his mother's care. I do not pose a threat to our son or to myself. These allegations will be disproved at the time of the hearing. I believe sis because she's under the care of a psychologist and she's getting treatment, so she's fine. As the court may recall, on May 13, 2025, I was granted a temporary restraining order, Exhibit 1. I had asked that the court also grant an order to stop Darryl from continuing to harass me online. His online presence is his means of financial support, and he has continued to use this to cause me distress and harm. Sis, he hasn't continued to use it directly, but his friends and family. He's sicking people on you. Darryl is a professional YouTube and Twitch blogger and rapper. Whenever he wishes to cause upset and get clicks, he starts bad-mouthing me to several millions of fans. Since the orders were made, this online behavior has only escalated and I have continued to receive death threats. A few examples of these angry, aggressive posts are attached as Exhibit 2. His fans constantly post pictures of our son and are surveilling our son and me. Our son is not a public figure and his safety and well-being are of great concern. Just recently, Darryl's fan posted a video of Halo in a public park with my babysitter while I was in New Jersey working, claiming I am a bad parent for working. I saw that picture, y'all. This means that someone was watching our whereabouts and following Halo and my nanny in the park. This post is attached as Exhibit 3. So his supporters are going to cause him to have issues, y'all. On top of that, Hali also mentioned the situation that recently happened between DDG and his entourage at the DreamCon convention.
Come on, check it. Can I see the video real quick? Yes, sir. We're walking night for this.
Hold this real quick.
We got going.
Somebody hold this. It takes hold this. What you say?
What we got going?
What you say? Voodoo garbage. Like
No recording.
Amid her ongoing custody battle with DDG, Halle Bailey referenced an argument between a troll and DDG's brother Dub. Bailey specifically highlighted an altercation between Dub and a man at DreamCon, during which the user referred to DDG as doo-doo garbage as a reason for why the motion should be denied, y'all. So then Halle wrote, on Saturday, May 31st, 2025, Darryl and his brother were recorded on TikTok being involved in a fist fight with another man. The declaration reads, I will bring this video to court. Darryl and the people around him are aggressive and angry, which leads me to believe this is not a safe environment for Halo. There's an update, a recent development in the DDG and Halle saga. A judge reportedly grants part of DDG's temporary restraining order request against Halle Bailey, because earlier today people were saying that the motion was denied. However, it looks like the judge has given kind of a partial approval of some sort, so let's read through it. This is from the Shade Room. Billboard reports that Judge Latrice A.G. Birdsong, I think that's a sister, partially granted a temporary restraining order on Wednesday evening. Bailey cannot engage in any physical or emotional abuse against DDG. However, Halo will remain in her custody until the parents' next hearing on June 24th. Again, Halle can still travel to Italy with Halo. And this is what the court found. The court finds insufficient evidence of imminent emotional and psychological risk to the minor child during the petitioner's business trip to Italy, wrote the judge. Further evidence is required at a noticed hearing for the court to issue more restrictive orders. Additionally, DDG's lawyer confirmed the update in a new statement to XXL. The attorney added that DDG is committed to resolving the matters concerning Halo through legal channels and not the court of public opinion.
Sheltered black girl to raggedy baby daddy pipeline got our daughters in a chokehold, and I'm finally ready to talk about it. Let's talk about how black girls are not given the tools, the guidance, the space, or the grace to interact with and learn from the opposite sex as adolescents, and it's so damaging to them in their future. We are told during all of our most formative years that our only focus should be pursuing our education and or career. We done heard books before, boys because boys bring babies. It's drilled into our head, those little sayings. The downside is dating and navigating sexuality is a normal part of growing up. Y'all do a disservice to black girls and black boys when you pretend as if this part of them doesn't exist. Or worse, you teach them that exploring these parts of themselves makes them fast or nasty or hellbound. When we bypass that part of life, of growing up, without real support, it leaves us more susceptible to manipulation and abuse, especially while so many families are simultaneously teaching their daughters that submission to men is a must for a godly union. We are sent out into the world without enough knowledge on, but plenty of shame surrounding our bodies. We're also given no knowledge of the trappings of relationships that happen outside of getting pregnant, mentally, emotionally, and physically. We're not armed with the self-confidence or the self-assurance we need to set healthy boundaries or to weed out toxic behavior patterns that we see in our partners. And then y'all cannot wait to I told you so and should have kept your legs closed to the girl that ends up manipulated and pregnant and or humiliated and embarrassed by the first boy that speaks real sweet to her. When did you really tell her? When did you really tell her? Shit's brazy to me.
All right, y'all. So y'all heard it. That is the last update that we have gotten thus far. I cannot believe that we're finally at the end of this case study. This has been probably one of the most extensive, drama-filled case studies that I have ever covered. However, I hope that you guys all learned a valuable lesson or a few valuable lessons in this case study. Now, I wish both Halle and DDG the best in their endeavors, and I truly hope that they do right by their son Halo. Thank you for watching this case study. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and as always, take care of your beautiful selves, and until next time, bye.